When you finally boil it all down, magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of life. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Heist Click and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine Ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless.
Getting coffee.
In the darkest of nights, gonna let my light shine. As my heart beats a rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die. I'm becoming fearless. Check a 1, 2. What's going on, everyone? It's your main man, the Sorcerer Supreme, Frank Castle, host of your show, Fearless, right here each and every Saturday night on YouTube. And I'm joined by my co-host and ethereal translator, Paula, Milo.
Hey, everyone.
What's going on, Fearless family? How are you guys in the chat room? It's good to be with you. I'm very off. We've had a very, very bad last 2 days. And I don't like to start the show with saying the words very bad at all, but it's dark and it's not happiness. But the week didn't start off that way, naturally. It's a journey. It has its ups, it has its downs, it has lefts and rights, right? And everything in between.
I don't know what else. I don't know what else could possibly happen.
Watch what you say, creator.
I know. It's been a rough couple of days, but we're getting through it.
So I don't know if we should start backwards or start at the beginning of the week. I'm a little unsure, and I'm very unsteady tonight. I was not going to go live. I snapped a little bit ago between the emotions and the crying and the pain that I'm going through is just something I can't explain. So I'm off. I've been stuttering. I've been cursing like a truck driver. I literally don't care, but I care, but I don't care, but I care. Therein lies the fucking problem. But I love you guys. And we said we would, share everything or, relevant to the journey itself. It's a wild ride, man. People are fucking dying all around us. That's what's going on. All right. They're sick and dying terribly, terribly, terribly. It's one wake after permanent residence in the hospital that you're never coming out of into finding out your father has, and I don't like my dad. Everyone knows that. I don't give a shit with what he put my family through, but his wife is dying now. There's divorces going on in my family. There's multiple deaths. There's people on the verge of death, and I've about had it. My father's side of the family is just plummeted, just straight down. And there's no coming back from that one. Leaving my brother and myself in a weird position. And the universe leaves plenty of room to shake shit up more. If it's ever going to surprise you at every turn, every twist and turn, it's that time. I've heard of more death this week than I care to ever hear about again. I'm fucking over it. I'm so over it. If I see one more person cry, if I cry again, like I'm having a rough one with this. It's not fun. It's not a happy time. I didn't think this was going to happen at any point. Literally. I know you're at a loss of words. You're just sitting there like, but what are you going to do, right?
Well,
People fucking live, they fucking die. Talking to the mic.
well, I didn't know if you were going to start from the beginning of the week.
I don't know.
Start from today.
I don't know. I did it again to you. So, yeah, you don't have to.
No, I know. I'm just.
You don't have to.
I'm giving you.
So, appreciated. But it's universal surprises, and during these times, it's like everything you've ever learned here or there or wherever. More than anything, you have to put it into play immediately. You know, I felt like if I didn't give thanks today for some strange reason, when I woke up, I woke up to a text and I says, you know what, you got to stop holding on now. You got to just kind of let it go and give up. And there's a point where you're sick and there's no coming back from it, and it's just getting worse. And I had all these fucking terrible thoughts, and I said to myself, why are you having these thoughts? And I'm like, well, I'm coming from a place of love. I'm not really coming from a place of go die, right?
No, I think we were hit with a couple of different things this week. So your brother's father-in-law passed away this week. Families were close. He was very close with Frank's brother Rob, so that was a devastation in itself, and that was we didn't expect it to happen as quickly as it did. So dealing with that, then you know, and Grandma takes a turn for the worse in the middle of the night.
Grandma had another heart attack last night. She's officially done. They checked her into the hospital.
So she's in. We were doing home hospice. Now she's at Calvary Hospital. She's in hospice care. Again, they're saying this could be the end, but we really don't know because she's pulled out of it so many times. But we have
there
a
is
feeling
no pulling out of this one.
This might be the end. So it was a little bit of a devastation. It kind of took us by surprise because everything happened at the same time. There were multiple things going on, and then that happened on top of it. So it's just been a little bit to process. It's been basically crazy since we woke up this morning, dealing with this, running back and forth to the hospital, getting people set up, you know, home at the hospital, back home. So it's it was just a
right
really
out of one
wake
day
today. Into the hospital again.
We had a terrible night. It's just like one thing after another.
Yeah.
Rapid fire, 50 things piling fucking shit on top of shit, and then collapsing it right on top of you. And it's like, now maneuver, figure it out, creator. Everything that you've been, whatever the fuck it is you're doing, right up the middle. Now's your time to put it all into play because you're going to need it right now. And it's like, wait, I took a sleeping pill for the first time to go to sleep.
I know.
Right?
Coming
out,
and everything.
My neck was stiff. My back was out. My hip was fucked up. It was like 55 degrees here almost last night. We were like, what the hell is going on here? Right down my back, everything froze up. So I'm like, you know what? The hard night's over. Let's
we get home from
down.
The wake. We check in on the grandparents, make sure they're okay. Now we're in our house, settled in, and we think everything's going to be okay until today. And then everything started up again first thing in the morning. And, and then, when you go to the wakes, you find out things about family that you didn't know. You find out all the information.
And everybody always wants to hang out at the wake because you never see each other all year.
Right.
And then you say shit like, oh, we should all hang out because I miss you. Right? There's a lot of love given. And then I don't know if it's retracted or just detached and let go. Maybe it's there, maybe it's not for the rest of the year. I got fucking tired of hearing that one yesterday. We really need to hang out. I'm like, yeah, you don't like me. None of you like me. Yeah, but we only really see each other when people die, right? Should say something. One good thing, though, out of it, there was a lot of love. And I'm being a little harsh about it because I don't fucking like people right now. I'm very upset with the way the curveball is hitting me right in my face. And I opted to not wear my mask, my catcher's mask, and my glove for like 2 seconds. I just took it off and I got hit right in the face with the ball. Like, fuck, I should have never taken that off. So I go down, I wake up this morning, like I was like, wow, I slept all night right on the couch. Holy shit. Boom. At 2:43 in the morning, grandma losing her shit. Now, I'm going to make all of this relevant while I'm blowing steam off my chest, and we're going to get back into the good stuff. It's just I have to get this out so everyone knows, because there's been a complete absence of me online pretty much. If you're not, I'm just promoting stuff and kind of moving through my day, doing so let me get to my point. So you spoke to my mother, and then I went outside this morning, right? And I had to do like a thanks in the middle of that. And I felt really fucking weird. Like I was losing my mind going, thank you, universe. Today is an important day. And I love you and send love to the family and greetings to this thing and that thing. And all the cats and the fucking birds and everything are running up to me. And I'm like overwhelmed to the point where I'm choked up to here. And I want to just start screaming and running. Instead, I opt to say my thank yous and greetings. Did it help? Yeah, it did. It did, because we walked into something that was horrendous. To watch someone who's loved someone for 60 years fucking dying in front of them, like being pulled away from them. And this is the last time you're probably going to see each other or whatever. I know he went over to the hospital, so he was there a little bit. That's big for him.
Yeah.
He can't barely move. So these are big times for everyone. But okay, so in the midst of my own, I'm bringing it down now. I'm bringing it down. We'll get back in the conversation. I appreciate that. I'm sorry I keep doing this to you.
Okay. It's okay.
It looks like I'm shuffling stuff over to you.
No, it's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
But all right, so now standing there and watching that, right? Because I've seen it with other people, and it's sad, and you see it in movies and all that stuff.
But so Frank's talking about his grandparents.
My grandfather.
They've been together for like 60 years.
You got to talk into
it. Was okay. It's been like 60 years they've been together, and today was a rough day because I think the realization finally hit the two of them that they may not see each other anymore, and that's something very hard. It was very hard to watch.
Yeah,
it broke
all
my
right,
heart.
so multiple things happened when I watched that, because watching it is something different when you're standing on top of it and you're part of it. All I could do is hold this man while he was shaking so he could just tell her to let go. And you have every generation standing around. So it's quite beautiful in that regard. And there was a rush of energy in the room because it's an anxious thing. Like the people that were collecting her were in the room, right? They like walked up and the EMTs came inside the house
to get her. Yeah. They were very, very kind, very, very careful. They were very, very careful with her.
Yeah. I mean, so inside of the craziness, all that was good. Then there was like this rush of love, and then it was like cart you off time. It was very odd. Very, very odd. But these people only know each other. My grandparents only know each other. They know everyone else, but it's really just them. Right? He said something like, well, we got 6 or 7 months out of her, like more out of her life.
Yeah,
which was more than, I didn't even realize it was that much. So there was appreciation in that. So there's love, appreciation. There was some gratitude for sure. Thank you for being with me during the journey. And then this hard realization that everyone else in the room other than us is like, bro, life is over, for this woman. And the guy's looking into the emptiness. And I'm sitting here, Frankie fucking fearless, right? With what I know, and can't project any of it to them. Because it's just odd.
They have to deal with it in their way. No matter what you know and what you've seen and what you can tell them, they still have to process it in their own way. And it's hard.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. It's difficult, but it's so weird. Not just watching that, knowing what we know as a collective group, all of us. I want to share that. I want to give it away. I want to hand it off to the next person. I want to blip and just leave it there and just let it disseminate. But I don't know. I just, it's hard to watch and then think, having a room full of people like, wow, it's over for this person. We know it's just a beginning, another beginning, like another time to step through the gate into something wonderful that we were unaware of to begin with. But it's the people that are left behind that go through this
But that's it. It's the people that are left behind that hurt because they're transitioning. It's all the people that are left behind.
And we have to be strong for one another.
Mhm.
Let one another say what we have to say, let it out, as you just witnessed. I'm calm now. I'm definitely good. Um, and everyone expresses it in their own way. And we have to like throw compassion in every darkened corner of a situation and light just right into it. And just, it's weird. I try to hug my brother like 3-4 times, and he does this right, like, yeah, it's okay, but that's a lot for him, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
love you, man, and and everyone's like, yeah, I get it. I don't know, it's so awkward.
I think I think what would have happened if he would have allowed you to give him the hug, I think he would have completely broke down today. And I
Yeah,
think he needed to be strong because he had the funeral today and then he had to deal with all everything that happened after that.
they woke him up in the middle of the night and
Yeah,
said, get
and then
down
he
here, say
had to
goodbye to
stay,
grandma.
he
He lost his shit.
after the funeral, he was with at the house with us, with Pop. Mom was at the getting everything ready at the hospice with grandma, and then he had to leave us to go rejoin his party after the funeral. So your brother didn't even get a break, and I think if he would have allowed you to receive the hug, he would have lost it.
Yeah, he might
So
have.
I think he had to put it in the
So,
back of his head and just go
you
on
know,
with the day, and then you and he need to have a private moment
my
after
brother
that.
impressed me quite a bit with something today. He's much younger than me, right? So, well, 7 years. So he doesn't know my dad the way I know him, right? My dad left when he was like 2,
Hmm.
so he's always wanted a father, right? And
But
that's
but you
awesome.
knew him growing up. I mean, you did see
Well,
him.
you know him, but you don't know like the pre-divorce,
Hmm.
like when he was cool in the 80s and stuff, right? So he said something wonderful to me, and it's just the person that he's compassionate towards, which is my dad. I don't really have a compassionate spot in my body for this guy, right? I just don't. I don't connect at all anymore. My brother, on the other hand, and I think we've all seen this coming, how this stuff moves in cycles. He's like, well, in a few months he's gonna kind of probably wiggle back in or whatever. It's not that he's a bad person. He's actually a good person. He was just crappy with my family, right? I
Right.
don't want to shit on nobody's salad when they've been good to other people and
Yeah.
have paid certain things
Yeah,
forward.
he just wasn't a good dad to you.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to take judgment away from certain things because this is what got me going. My brother said, "Yo, man, who's going to be compassionate to the guy with nothing?" He's like, "That's my dad," and I was like, "Ugh." He's like, in the end, it's like, yeah, so you he sounded like a dad. So you went out, you partied, you fucked up, you made a whole bunch of bad decisions, but I'm still here. You came back around. It's all good. There are rules and regulations now for sure. Things are just different, but I'm still here and I do care. And I can help by being there. Maybe the kids meeting the grandfather, whatever. So I was like, wow, that's really big of you
It was
for a
very
guy
adult of
that
him.
completely was just needed to get swift kick right in his nuts for the things he did to that man. So it's just interesting. So even in that time where you're like, you know what? Well, fuck that guy. He was like, nah, super compassionate. You know, impressive, impressive. So my hats off to my brother Rob Banks from the Red Cup Review. Um, okay, so I'm gonna pull away from this stuff. I kind of had to get that. I was just kind of blasting through up to the point I turned the camera on tonight with this. But we had an interesting week, and for those of you that wondered what's up with ayahuasca and Frank and what are you doing, so we have a pretty interesting take on the week this week. I did some shaman stuff. Well, we're not going to discuss the session, but we were shamaning for sure. And right before we left, I had a massive download. Some weird things happening to me. I witnessed something I wasn't quite sure I'd I don't know. You never think you're going to see something like this. So I feel honored that I was privileged with the vision for that. So I needed to ground at the beginning of the week. We were working towards going away to do the thing, right? So I rooted into. I always root when I ground into earth. What do you do when you ground?
I just ground. I just see myself going into the earth, like the roots of a tree. That's how I do it.
Okay, so I do the same thing. I grow roots out of myself as I'm breathing into the center of the earth. Excuse me. So this is what happened this time. I grew roots and I wrapped myself around the flaming bowl in the center of the planet. And this time it cracked open. And then the planet cracked with it. And I was like, well, I'm not grounding right now. What's happening? Like, whoa, I'm trying to do this. Where's the planet going? And it was in two. Right down the whole thing. So I was like, wow, this is really weird. And I watched this black substance come straight up, come out, and start swirling. And it was almost like it was a tree, right? Like, but the way it was kind of coming out like that. And I was like, man, there's a lot of that stuff in there. What's going on? Why is this darkness like that coming out of the planet? As that it came up, and I was like, oh, it's gigantic. It's everywhere. And it was being sucked out of from the background. And I'm like, hey, where's it going? And I was sitting with an empty shell of the planet. It was open like this. And I heard cracking, like, and I'm like, what the fuck? What is going on here? And boom, I saw it looked like a seed broke open and it just started growing. And I'm like, holy shit. And there was this new tree of life growing around me, growing around all of us, which is pretty interesting. What is the tree of life's name? Idrisil, right? You have just nothing. I think it is Idrisil.
I'm just letting you talk because you.
So Idrisil started growing, and they said a new tree, a new time. That's what it said. That's the information that was coming from me. I could see the tree growing. I could see life on it. I can see that we used to be the life on the tree, which is really odd. Like we used to live, like the trees were so big, you would just live into them.
In the tree, okay.
Not like a bird, like the way we live, but in the trees. But we were a little different. But it was kind of flashing like, excuse me, like as before, now again.
Right.
But new. That was the big thing.
Well, that would make sense though, because we did enter this new 13-year cycle. Like this, we're on an upswing now. So it would make sense that you saw that.
Yes.
Right. So it's almost.
Well, yeah, I had no idea I would ever like that. This was going to be.
Yeah. So that kind of would make sense though, because then that would be validating that we are entering into this new cycle.
Validation into the new cycle. Yeah, for sure. And it was very beautiful. Now we were going what was it, Delaware State Park? It's National State Park. So we were in a state park. Yes. Trees everywhere. So
yes.
It becomes a wonderful, beautiful experience to know you can go from having this, like we're in the Bronx, right? You just see the tree outside. I'm going to be in the trees, like inside the environment. Is some whoa.
Oh, come on, down. Okay.
Is something completely beautiful, right? So knowing that we were going there, it's almost like you were, me personally, was getting cleared out from the new grounding, the new life, and then we were going to go experience that by sitting in that. When it's rare when we're in a mountain. I mean, we have the botanical gardens, we have the parkway.
I didn't want to say where we were going though. Okay.
Well, it's
Yeah,
just a
we were.
beautiful
Yeah, we were
place.
in the middle of the woods. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was beautiful.
I mean, if you're truly going to have an experience, I'm beginning to associate the ayahuasca experience to, yeah, there's an outdoor side to it, right? Where you want to be in nature um, and touch down there. But then even like during this ceremony, we wanted to go back inside.
Hmm.
It was like, okay, that's enough.
Enough with nature. Yeah.
Enough with nature because it's a little too much.
Stimulus.
Is that what it is?
Stimulation. Yeah, I
No.
think that's what it is.
What were those bugs?
Cicadas.
They were so loud. And we were told, oh, there's bear here too. And there was like signs to run up, not run up to the bear, but if it runs at you, to stand up and get big. And I was like, oh, is that the smartest thing to do when you see a bear? Run up to it and be like, ah. I mean, that's just kind of weird stuff. But okay, so also during the vision, which was pretty intense, and then I decided to pay it forward. Okay, so I was confused with the new tree and I was very into it. I was like, oh, this is great. Look at all this. And I was approached by Horus. He literally, it was him in the full garb and the full gear with not a staff, but a spear. Because I had complained that all of that dark energy, there's no way for like me to fight that. Right. So at first you're like, do you want me to fight that? It's like, I don't know. That's too much. And he was like, you need to be protected again. So new tree, new this, new weapons, right? And I'm like, weapons? I'm kind of not into war and weapons. And he's like, no, of creation. A weapon of creation. How's that? And I'm like, well, I'm a weapon of creation, kind of, right? And he was like, yeah, you are. And he handed me the spear. And the spear at first, I was like, oh, like Aquaman, like the spear of Atlantis. And he goes, yeah, no, it's what you want. Right. So you create what you want with it. And he handed it to me. And I said, oh, this is cool. And it was really kind of big for me. So I rested it like this, like gunk. And when I hit it, shields went up, which is pretty interesting because today and yesterday, last night, were the only downtime the shields were down. That's it the whole time. Right. Even through the drive and the crazy here and there. Like it blows out quick, no attachment, no parasite. The purge has been coming from like pulling it out of situations.
Right.
How have you been with that? Because you've been situational too with a lot of stuff. I don't want to be specific.
Look, I've been closing out a lot of issues. Everyone has. And I think I'm on the other side of it. So I think whatever happened the last couple of weeks with the energies that were going back and forth, I definitely let a lot of issues go. I closed out a lot of issues for myself. Things that I thought were done with are now completely done with.
So it's taken some time to close out stuff, even though you've been trying.
But it definitely has, and everyone has been going through it. Everyone. I mean, people in the FearLess family have been going through it. Just people in general have been going through it. You know, there was earlier in the week, there was this energy, and everyone was just angry and bitter, and I mean, everyone though was feeling it, and you know, and then when that started to dissipate, then you know. Then it got a little easier and it got a little lighter, but then all of this other stuff happened. So it's almost like we were making room to allow all of these other things to happen.
That was the other thing. It was like that strip you clean.
Right, because you have to make room for what's coming. And it's just been a little difficult. It's been a little difficult. I feel like I'm juggling. I'm tired.
I can't juggle.
Just we're done. I'm done.
I can understand that for sure. You get to a point where it's like collapsing that timeline, and you're like, I don't want it no more. I'm just done with the way situations maybe have been handled. I mean, we throw love at as much as, and we could be there as much as we can, like we're in the mix. But then you hit a wall at some point, and it's like if we continue pushing that wall, it's just going to create more and more of a problem. Actually, right. then. Yeah, that was one thing when we were out in the woods. I kept seeing dramas play out in front of me. Right. And it was like me in the drama and then standing back here.
Right.
And then going back into the drama and then coming back out here. And I was like, oh, so it's just us. We're all cackling idiots. It's like literal children. Right. So some of us are better at it than others. Naturally, there's two right here. She's very good at it. Me, not so much. Right. So we all want to deliver the little to the next person for some strange reason, right? And when you retract that, you realize you're not adding to the crazy,
right?
And you start seeing it.
Right.
Well, maybe it's not crazy. It's just drama or distractions or life intensity, right? Because you never know what you're going to get hit with that day. But you realize sometimes people, like I felt at one point angry and upset at certain things. It was raining. It was cold. Everyone was sick and dying. I'm like thinking, and we're on our way to a wake, and I'm like going, oh, when people die, even it hurts the people around it. It's got to rain and be cold. And I was like, whoa. Like, what are you doing? Maybe it's raining and cold because it's blowing out the old shit.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So yeah, right. Like if I was to blow air into a tube that was kind of warm in the middle of the summer, and I got to get this stuff out of here and vacuum it out the other side, I would blow into it and it would instantly get a little cooler. Things would change. I might drool on you so it's wet, right? And then it's clean and it's gone. It's not like it was chemtrail clouds or anything. They were legitimate. It's almost like the sky was crying along with everything else. But it's not all right. So out of our situation, I've noticed now it's happening. We're all in it together. As I looked across the board on my block, we talked about this last week. A lot of people are that age group, the 80, 90-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
They all moved in together around the same time. And now they're all exiting around the same time. It's really weird.
It's very sad.
Very sad.
Very sad.
One of the things I was upset about is I don't want to ever go through that. Now, I know I talk a lot about transformation. My cousin said.
So now tie in the whole thing with your father, because the thing what you said in the beginning, you said you were going to go back to, because people don't understand why you were upset with.
I said my brother was compassionate towards my father.
Right. And so being at the wake brought up a whole bunch of, you find out about family, what's going on with family. So they found out things about the family that they didn't know. And now the two of them are going to have to be dealing with that in the coming months. And they're going to have to decide how they're going to be dealing with that in the coming months. So I think that's another additional strain right now, something that they weren't expecting. More drama, more confusion coming for you and your brother.
Well, I've already made my stake in the claim. I'm not doing absolutely anything. It's on him to do whatever he wants to do. We're all people. That doesn't mean I'm not compassionate. Oh, so I don't want anyone to lose anyone they love. This is another thing. Like, I don't like people, but I don't want you to lose anyone.
No, of course not.
Even my enemy. Don't lose your wife. I don't want you to lose a kid. Like, I think you're a dick. That's it. Maybe you should get hit with a cake or kicked in the nuts, but I don't want you to die. I don't want the other person to go.
Right.
I don't want you to lose your loved one. That was something I noticed within the connections. It was like, I don't hate. Like, I dislike heavily certain things. I got to pull away from the hate thing. And, but I don't want bad for you. I just don't want you. Right. Does that make sense? Like, you can do whatever it is you want. Just don't do that stuff to me.
Don't be involved. Yeah. I don't want to be involved in it.
We grow past this stuff and we move on. And it's really weird too, because people say people can change, and then they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks at the same time. Mm-hmm. You should give someone a chance, but he's just going to do the same thing to you.
Right. Well, that's what's going to happen, and you already know it. So you kind of have your answer right there. But we have to go through the motions, because we have to see if the result is going to be different this time.
Do we though? Or is it?
It's up to you. You have the choice. You either do or you don't. And then you find out. Either way, you're going to be hurt and disappointed. So it doesn't matter. If it works, you're going to be hurt and disappointed that it took so long.
If that is an end result, then I'll never be part of it.
But you don't know if that's going to be the end result.
Well, you just said no matter what, you're going to get hurt.
You are.
So
Well,
then there's no desire to want to be in that mix.
mhm.
I don't know. Like if you gave me an equation and say, no matter how this works out, you're going to think it sucks one way or the other.
Right.
And I would say then, oh, I guess it depends on the situation, but I would remove myself from the equation if it was.
You don't know if you would. That's the thing. You don't know until you're presented with it. Look, you're going to be hurt and confused. You're going to be hurt because you're going to get disappointed, because if it works out the way you want it to work out, why couldn't it have worked out years ago? And if it doesn't work out the way you want it to work out, you invested more time and you invested your heart a little bit more, and you put yourself out there and it didn't work. So you're going to be upset. Either way, it's just how quickly can you move past it? And what are you expecting to get out of it? And if you don't want anything, then you walk away quietly. If you do want something, then you spend a little time there and you figure it out. You figure out what it is that you want.
It's not wrong either way.
No, but that's the thing. It's not wrong either way. That's why they call them emotions. You never know how you're going to behave. You don't know how you're going to behave. You can say till the day you die, I never would do this or I never would do that. But the truth is you don't know until you're faced with the situation. You don't know. You really don't. That's why they call them emotions. They're unlimited. You don't know. And it doesn't make it wrong or right.
It doesn't. That's the thing I'm learning. We're free will in it, right?
Mhm.
And there's no one judging you but you.
But you.
And if someone else judges you, it's
because you allowed them to. As we all learned, it took us our whole lives to realize this. People judge you because you allow them to judge you. So you take that on, that's on you. You can do anything you want. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. Your brother might feel very differently. Your brother might take a different approach. It may pay off, it may not. But he's entitled to do what he feels he has to do for his family. You have to do what you have to do for your family, whatever that may be.
I already chose my path.
I know you did.
And if you can't come onto my path with me,
right,
as of right now,
right,
I'm not sinking into the shit
because
again.
you're not going back down. You can't go back down. You can't go beneath yourself. Once you've elevated, once you've put all of this work into play and you've put all of this time into yourself, you can't go back down into the mud. You can't do it.
I'm at the point now, and I was talking to, shout outs to Josh Carruthers, by the way, You the Magician.
Oh yeah, 5 years, 5-year
5-year
anniversary.
anniversary.
Get the book if you can.
Well, I have the links up on my page on my Facebook and in the FearLess family group. If you can't get down with the thought straight up that you are the all, our conversation is instantly limited, and I desire not to spend time even discussing it with you on any layer, any level. And it's the weirdest thing because it's like you're rocking that program, right? And if I'm not feeling it, I'm just like, so we'll never get through to that. Not at the moment. So I guess this is all momentary. Like right now, I'm like, nah, but in 3 months, I might, or tomorrow, I might go, you know what? I'll take time on this one specific one because look.
Well, in the last 24 hours, you were hit with 3 different completely separate issues. So, of course, you're going to need time.
I found out so much shit about my father's side of the family. It's terrifying.
But that's what happens when you get
all
together.
Going south. I'm like, what?
That's what happens when you don't talk to people and then you're thrown in a situation and you have to catch up. That's what happens.
Really, really, we love you so much. Thank you so much for that. We do have each other. That's why we're here. So I'm not trying to work out as much live on air. That's the super chat.
Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you. That's very sweet.
That we would, work through it. Like, is it work like what we're talking about right now, working through it to a better, if you can see the end and it's a better thing, and pushing through and working through it. I'm doing it
I
right
mean,
now.
how
We're doing
many
it right
how
now.
many of our fearless family have gone live this week alone and are going through similar things? I mean, it's happening to everyone.
I can't, and not, I won't talk about any of them, but I will say some of them are worse than ours. I don't even.
You can't even compare it because
That's a bad thing to say.
there's no
worse
way.
than ours,
There's no
but
way to. There's no way to
Because to
compare
me,
it.
this is my world.
Exactly, and to them, it's their world, so you can't compare it, and you
Right.
shouldn't
It's
compare
apples
it.
and oranges. It's
Right,
just-
because your crisis is your crisis, no matter
you know-
what the crisis is. You own it. It's your crisis, so you can't compare it.
It's almost like I want to picture us all kind of hanging out, holding hands, making that giant like circle around all of. It's for everyone, but let's work with the ones in front of us, right? So we kind of throw them all in to the circle, and while all that's happening, just on some weird level, we're just holding hands, kind of care bearing, staring everybody in there, like keep them in here and just throw love at them, throw love, and until.
But that's all you can do.
So they're like in a protective transmute
Exactly, but
love
that's all you
bubble or
can do. But
something.
there, you know, it's wonderful in theory to say that, like, let's all the fearless people, let's hold hands, and nothing bad will ever happen. And that's not the way it happened.
Well, it would be happening bad. We would just be.
You would be on the side of hope, which is what we talk about. So, like you had a breakdown in the beginning of the show. You had a meltdown. You let it out, and then as soon as you let it out, you felt better, right? And now you can look at it, and now you can be objective. But you couldn't be objective before because 12 things happen right before the show starts. Everything happens. And, you know, you got hit with a lot of energies. You were hit with a lot of feelings. You thought you were going to purge. Then you didn't have to purge.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, you know,
Mama was in the bathroom with me like, what are you doing?
And you're feeling, you have to understand, you're also feeling very bad for your brother right now and for your sister-in-law. There's a lot going on there. So you're feeling a lot of different things. And, you know, it's almost like we have to put them in buckets for now because we have to deal with what is immediately in front of us. So everything else has to kind of get put on the side until we can deal with it, because we have to deal immediately. I have family coming in tomorrow.
You know,
I don't even know how I'm going to juggle that tomorrow.
So one of the things, like as you're saying it, I thought ahead to other stuff that like we had to do. And then I had to they started like falling in and you know, getting to me like, I gotta get this done. How are we gonna do this? Like, and I had to push them off, like punch them back from the loving, compassionate guy who's got to be in the moment. I got to be in the now. I don't have time for this shit. And meanwhile, the other guy's going, no, you don't have time for this shit. You got to do this. You got to do that. And I'm like, no. That's not important. That's the unimportant. Like that can go later. Dishes in the sink.
Right.
You got to throw
but that's
garbage.
what I'm saying.
That can all wait.
You have to prioritize when you're getting hit with all of these things. When you're getting hit with all of these things, you have to prioritize what's important right now. And you can only deal with what's immediately in front of you. I'm sorry. You can only do what you can with what is immediately in front of you. The rest just has to wait a little while until this gets dealt with first. And that's what you have to do. We have to push everything aside and we have to do one thing at a time.
Yeah, I find myself, if I'm not like doing that, like listing it, the multitasking isn't working right now. The multitasking effect is completely off.
Can't do it. Got to deal with what's in front of you. You know, your brother, like we had 2 major catastrophes in 24 hours, but you can only deal with one at a time. That's what you do. You know, you're not saying you put it to bed. You know, you say, I love you, but we'll have to come back to this because this needs to be done right now.
Vanessa Morrison, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Very sweet.
I'm blushing.
Touched. Yeah. Truly touched.
Thank you guys so much.
You know, and you all know because you're all going through it as well. I mean, I don't even know what to say. Everyone's feeling it. It's just tragedy and loss.
I send for everyone that is going through it. We send you love.
Oh, of course. Yeah. And we're here. And we were dealing with that in the middle of all of this, dealing with that too, trying to get another person completely settled and on her way. And, you know, that's not an easy thing to do either, you know? So
You know what I find
I
funny?
have no word. Like, I have no words.
The
I have no
American
words.
way when you offer ayahuasca. Could you wait? You're gonna have to handle that.
Yeah, I'll handle that.
I noticed that Americans have this thing, right? If you hand it to them on a silver platter and you're like, "Yo, this will help you," they take more of that rope. They're like, "Yeah, give me this too, give me that too," right? But if you put some ridiculous price tag on it, it becomes something like all of a sudden it's so important, and it's like, yo, it's the same thing. It's that. So if I said something like, or people go to Peru, it costs $4,000, right, minimum, or somewhere in there to go spend your days there. And then in here in America, where people are just bugging out, like, become your own shaman, and people are trying to help, and they're putting in the same amount of work that shaman is in the other country.
More work.
And that guy isn't going to spend more than 5 minutes with you because he has 60 people to look after, right? You'll go to that guy and be like, bro, it was the greatest experience. I paid thousands of dollars, da, da, da. And the guy that comes, or the girls that come and show up and bring it to you in the comfort of your home, treat it like completely different. Like, oh yeah, I don't know how to say it.
But that's part of the reason you're drinking too, is to learn
How to kick through it.
the things that you need to improve on in your life. So
Or maybe Americans, people, they I feel they don't.
People don't value things.
Thank you.
Unless you pay a lot of money for something. So, Frank and I are telling you, we have this solution, and it's yours, and basically it's yours for free. And I think that if you don't put a price tag, if you don't attach a price tag to it, some people don't value it as much. And I find that with a lot of things, people don't value it unless there's a high price tag attached.
But it's funny.
But that's part of the lessons that they need to learn.
No, true. But isn't that what we're trying to remove from the world? Is that high price tag on every friggin' thing?
Yeah.
And it doesn't do the fucking job it's supposed to.
Yes.
But you would pay the extra $100 if it did do the fucking work.
But that's a programming thing. That's us being programmed, right? Like, I don't even think we should spend time on it, because
no, it's just interesting because these are topics that come up. There's other shaman watching, there's other people, and they understand it.
It is interesting, but that's the way it is.
Right? All right, so if you went to your neighbor and said, I got it.
I'll give you an example. Because this is anyone knows. This is not anyone in the FearLess family. I was working, not at my corporate job, at a different job. And we were talking about ayahuasca. And one of the women, someone in her family, a married couple in her family, they go once a year to Peru, and they have this experience, and they pay thousands of dollars. And I said, that's funny, because Frank is an ayahuasca shaman, and you can have the experience. You can tell your family, if they want to speak with us, they can have the experience with us. And they were like, no, thank you. We like paying thousands of dollars and getting on a plane and going. And I said, they're not interested in having the experience for the medicinal part, the medicinal side of the experience. They want to be able to talk with their friends and say they got on a plane and they spent thousands of dollars for this experience. They don't care about the experience they're actually having, and they don't want to fix themselves, because Aya should not be used for entertainment. And I always say this, and I always will say this. Aya should not be used for entertainment. It's medicinal. If you want to fix childhood traumas, any trauma that you've ever had, it's medicine. It's medicine. And I think a lot of people want to do things that are niche, or things that are in, or things that are not well known about, to say that they tried it first. And that's not what we're here for.
Absolutely.
You want to get fixed?
It's funny to me.
You drink.
Right? So here you have a toilet. No, I don't mean in my house. I mean, if you do it around someone's home.
Oh,
You got the
yeah.
bathroom, you got the
Comfort,
the
creature
comfort.
comforts. Yeah. Hmm.
You have food in the fridge for later, and water, somebody waiting on you basically hand and foot, making sure that you have the experience and whatever. While you go some other spots that are just ridiculously charging, they sit you in the back, they send someone who sings up and down the line, and it's beautiful in its own right, but it's more of like
You have to be a very strong person because there's no one-on-one.
some of the people I've run into cannot have it, and including myself at times. If there were 30 people, the way I flail around,
But
and
that's what I was just explaining. If you are not a strong person and you can't be left on your own to have this experience, it can be a terrifying experience. You know, a lot of people don't do all of the research they're supposed to do, or don't do the diet they're supposed to do, or, talk to people. So if you're not a very strong person, and most people that are drinking to heal, they're not very strong people at that moment. That's a very fragile state you're in, and to go somewhere and to have an experience with 50 other people, it's a very personal and private experience. And to not have someone watching you and caring for you is a very scary situation to put yourself in. It really is. And
I don't know, like, if you haven't, you've helped me from here to there more times, and I'm like, man, if I was lost in a crowd of 20 people like that, like, how you
just the questions,
where you going to the
and the
bathroom?
fears that come up. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Where are you going to the bathroom?
So
Who's helping you? Who's cleaning you up after?
those
Who's
places don't really do
putting
that
you in a
for
safe
you.
place so that you could close your eyes and go to sleep? Who's making sure that you wake up so that this way you don't choke on your own vomit? I mean, there are so many things that could
It
go
just
wrong.
goes on and
You know,
on.
and I'm not trying to be an alarmist or try to sound,
They should know.
but I mean,
The warnings and the problems
it's
and the issues.
it's a very personal and sacred experience, and you need to be watched, and you need
Cared
to be with
for.
someone who is actually going to care for you and make sure that, and thank you again, make
Oracle
sure that
Eyes,
you're
thank you so
cared
much.
for.
We love you as well. Thank you so much.
But it's scary business. It really is. It's scary business.
And they turn them out. They crank it out.
I know.
And
I know.
it got to the point now that, and people say, well, the area is bad, and people, it's hard up for, and look, it's becoming a tourist thing.
Well, that's what it is. I mean, people are now they're just, holding up signs and saying, have this experience. And you can't do that. There's a diet that you have to follow.
You're going to trust
There
that
are
guy to be alone with you?
there's a medication checklist that you have to follow to make sure that you're not on any of the medications that might interact with the plant medicine. And it's scary business. And I just thought we should take a little bit of time on it, because there may be people right now considering to drink. And I really feel that if you're going to drink, you must drink amongst friends or amongst people you trust.
You trust. Have
in small numbers. I don't think there's any benefit to going and doing it with large groups of people like that, because you do need to be watched and you do need to be cared for.
Well, this is what I keep seeing in my head. And Oracle Eyes, we love you so much.
Yes,
thank you again.
thank you.
Is that
this is amazing?
I know. The 30 or 40 feet, or that's probably nothing. If you got like 40 people in a tent, right? Like, how you get into the bathroom? I keep thinking to myself, what are you, going in the hole in the ground?
It's not
Or is it
even
a porta
that.
potty?
What if you're with some? No.
It's 10 people just use that, and I got to throw up in that. I mean, I don't know what's going on.
Right,
here.
but it's not even that. It's and that's a big part of it. But it's not even that, because you don't know. Now you're with a group of people. So say you're with 20 people, and you have an ayahuasquero, and maybe there's another person overseeing, watching everyone. You don't know who you're drinking with. So you don't know if the person sitting right next to you maybe was in the military, maybe is suffering from PTSD, maybe has a lot of traumatic childhood issues they're closing out. You don't know if that person is going to accidentally harm you during their experience. These are things people don't take into consideration. I mean, usually when you're under, you're not in a harmful situation. You're not going to try to hurt yourself. but you don't know what the person next to you is working on. You don't know what traumas they're working out. You don't know who the ayahuasquero is because you didn't get a chance to talk with him. And like Frank sent him 100 emails and questions in the middle of the night, and talk to him for 6 months in a row to decide if this is the right thing to do. You're lucky if you get to know that person's name.
Yeah, if you get 5 minutes to sit with them, or
what
you get dinner with them one night.
what are the you don't even know if you don't even know if the man is going to speak English.
You don't even know anything about him other than he might have made the ayahuasca brew by throwing it into a pot.
Right. And then they
I'm
just
not
keep
making a
throwing
knock on Shaman,
the
by the way.
No, and we're
talking about
not,
big
but it's a
business.
totally different way of doing things. And everyone's trauma is important. Everyone's trauma is important, and it should. Oh my goodness,
Cowboy Chris. Yeah. Thank you so much. We love you, man.
I can't express the gratitude. I really can't. Get coffee. I mean, I really can't express the gratitude, and thank you so much. But we just want to, because this was a hot topic of conversation this week, and we just want to make it clear, if you really are thinking of doing something like that, you really have to do the research. You really have to talk to people who have already had the experience. And if you can't find someone, then get them to the FearLess group so that they can talk to someone who has had the experience. Because I think the absolute worst thing you can do is think that you're going to do this for entertainment value, and you're going to go and you're going to be amongst 10 or 20 or 50 or 100 people, and you're not going to get the personal one-on-one time that you need. We all are dealing with traumas, childhood traumas, PTSD. I mean, we all know what the traumas are. And those, if you're taking the step to drink and you're being responsible and doing the research, then care for yourself a little bit more and make sure you're with someone that's going to keep you safe and protected the entire time that you're under. And then check on you after, because it's not just an event. You just don't go and drink
This is
and you're better and you move on. It's not that. You go and you drink and you have your experience, and then you have to pick up the pieces, and it takes a long time to put those pieces back together. So if you're going to do anything like that, please be safe.
Yeah, and
contact someone who can help you, get someone to get you to the group, to the FearLess group, so that you can speak with people and decide if this is truly what you need. Because we don't want you to have a terrible experience and then be afraid to try something else in the future.
Yeah.
Trauma needs to be dealt.
You go and you get PTSD from your ayahuasca experience because it was so traumatizing.
And now you trust no one.
And now you're like, oh, I should have never did that. Oh my God, I just wasted all that money.
Exactly.
But on the flip coin, some people need that tough love, because that's tough love. Like, you're in a circle with us. It's very.
See, I don't believe in that. You know me. I don't believe in that. I don't believe anyone should be on their own, tough love on their own during an experience like that.
Well, you ask somebody to get you whoopee, right? But they got 60 people to deal with, and they only got 4 hours to do it.
They're going to tell you to shut up.
They're going to be like, listen, now's not the time for that. Hug yourself.
Grab a leaf and shut up.
It's like, but my shoe. And it's like, yeah, your shoe could stay over there. Those kind of things, you're done.
It's
if you're not getting.
You're not going to get the one-on-one. You're not.
And it's wild.
You're not.
People will pay more for that than anything I've ever heard of, compared to what you could just do it for yourself in the States. But then when someone brings it to you, you don't. It's like, well, it would have cost me $4,000, but now I'm going to lowball you.
I don't even think. You know what? I think it's a.
It's not. We don't take. We don't set prices. Nothing.
No, and that's
everything's donation based. But think about that for a second. When you tip someone in a restaurant, right? 16% gratuity.
I was tipped 20%.
See?
Anyway, it doesn't matter. But that doesn't matter.
If the service is good.
Yes, but do you see what just happened? So, do you see what just happened? The beauty that was just
rained on us. Oh, yeah, of course. I'm in shock.
So it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. Just Remember the FearLess group.
12 hours. What are you making for one, Michael?
If you have,
What are you making for one?
I can't. I can't.
You try reducing the pot we got inside at one. You could reduce at 170 for 32 hours, and everybody's been just wafting an Aya until it's reduced down to that much from like that.
When Frank makes the Aya, it takes it depending on how much he's making. It takes days, and
But we're usually making a lot more than
the apartment fills up with the scent of Aya, so it's like in the walls. And it's funny because you smell it and you actually feel like you're starting to hallucinate, and you actually feel like something's starting to happen. So it's like a beautiful thing, because it's like she's with us. For those of you who do know, because once you've had the experience, she's always with you. She sits right here.
Yeah, see, and
She
here's
sits
another
right
thing.
here, like right here.
We're not We're not turning people out. My job, our job as Neo Shaman aren't to turn out corporate amounts of people coming in the door and coming back out.
No, that's not it. That's not it.
You work with us, you're good.
It's like
you're really.
We needed help.
That level.
We went to Aya, we received help, and we're sharing the information that we've received. And transparency is very big for us. So we do talk about like most of the things that happen to us on a regular basis, and we try to be as transparent as we can. So hopefully someone hearing this who is maybe thinking about having an experience like that, or even changing their lives, like just becoming more spiritual, if we can be honest and open with the experiences that we've had, maybe it can help someone. And that's basically all we're trying to do. We're not telling anyone how to live. This is not a lifestyle. We're telling you
not our way, or you're not gonna
we're
make
telling
it.
you,
That's
like, this is what we've done. This is what worked. This is what didn't work. Maybe we'll save you a little heartache down the line.
And money.
Or confusion, anything,
disruption,
yes,
anxiety, more anxiety. Fuck, we're trying to get rid of anxiety.
Of course, I mean, just what happened in the last 24 hours would be enough to send anyone over the edge. And you know what? We have no choice. We have to get through it, because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So we have to do what we can today, because we have to prepare, because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And then you take it from there. And it's not easy, and everyone's going through it. School just started up again, back to school. People are trying to get their kids into school. The holidays are around the corner. It's like you never get a break. I was even joking once with someone, and I was like, I wish Christmas came every other year so that you could actually recover in the same year from Christmas. And then I realized that we're just doing it wrong. And then we tried something different last Christmas, and it worked. I wasn't paying off Christmas gifts in July.
Yeah.
Because, we tried something different. You live within your means. You can't buy this gift, but you could buy that gift, and hopefully that gift is appreciated just as well. And because what it comes down to is just being together. So it's really like when Frank jokes and says, you have to science it. You have to science it, like you do. You have to try it. You have to try new things and see how they work. Like
literally, how are you gonna know?
When we were talking about sending love ahead, Frank and I sent love ahead for this experience that we had to have, and we even sent love ahead for the drive home. And I mean, honestly, it was like a classic textbook experience. The only thing, really was.
It was. The only thing that sucked, once again, traffic leaving. It takes so long just to get like 5 miles over here. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But once we broke into Jersey, it was perfect.
Oh yeah, it was fun.
Actually, it wasn't bad going over the bridge, but I felt like that pigeonhole, right? Like we got you squeezed together, and then there's just lanes coming in and people beeping and shit. And I'm like, wow, this is really anxiety filled. I was like, what the dude, I don't like this. But then naturally nobody likes traffic, and I felt the squeeze. But then just as I felt the squeeze, it released. Like really released. We had a good ride
because
we were cruising,
because you choose
just listening to
you choose to hold on to the anger, and let that thing that happened 5 minutes ago upset you, or you choose to let it go at that moment and continue on your way. We have choices that we make every minute of every day, and we let it go, and it was fine. Last night, we let it go. We dealt with what we had to deal with in front of us. This morning was a brand new problem. We dealt with it. Everyone's okay. The night is going to end in a little while, and everything is okay.
I just had a thought. Something that might help someone. I don't know, but my mind works weird. So right before it goes to a commercial break on a TV show, there's like always these little cliffhangers, right?
Right.
Okay, we don't get those in real life. Like if we're standing right there, there's no like, well, Paula turned to Frank and said, "Hey, I'm pregnant," and then commercial break, right? And you're like, you see me like, right? But in real life, I'm still standing there, right? Okay.
Horrified.
Maybe if we take the commercial
horrified
break,
and overwhelmed. Yeah.
Maybe if you get, because then we get up, we pee, we run to we get more shit. We're like, oh, what's gonna happen next? I can't wait. So
but that's
if you were able to take that.
That's the pause. You just take a pause and you just take a breath and you don't react and you don't respond and you say nothing, because those words that are said sometimes can't be taken back. So you say nothing. That commercial break is your pause.
Yeah.
And you just shut your mouth until you really think about what you want to say. And sometimes you say nothing.
When I took a public speaking class when I was young, and they said, just stay silent and think through the thought, and it'll catch, but you got to believe in it that you're going to be okay. And I'm like, what are they talking about? I could just talk all day. And then I got up on stage once and kind of froze for a second, and I felt the it didn't come out though, and I just went and then kicked back in. And it's a weird, awkward pause, but it's way better than the.
But think about filling. But think about it. People that need to fill all of that silence with words, and then you say these words, and you string these sentences along, and you don't mean anything you're saying because you're just afraid of the silence. And if you just let that pause, let that break, just let it play out until the end, you might find that there's nothing needed to say at all.
All right. You're right. You're absolutely right.
How many times do we react? I don't even let you finish talking, and I'm like, and another thing, and you're like, you didn't even let me finish my sentence. You don't even know what I'm talking about, because I already, in my head, finished his sentence and responded to it with my unkind words and my opinion. And I didn't even know what he's saying, because I didn't let him finish. I assumed I knew what the answer was going to be, and now I'm ready to jump in with my resolution. And there was no need. He was just making a statement. He didn't want a problem solved. He didn't want my perspective. He just wanted to say what he had to say. But I wasn't ready to stop talking and listen to what he had to say.
I think we all do that.
But I think everybody does that.
Show like 10 times.
I know. I was just going to put my head down and just wait in the corner until you were done. But
you got to hang your hair over your face and go emo.
I know. Paula. I don't want to be emo Paula.
No, you just pretend and then whip your hair back and go, okay, you done.
But now you feel better, right? Because you got it out.
Yeah, I feel really good. I want to answer a question that came up, because it's kind of, I can't take chat comments sometimes, like text comments. I can't really read the energy behind it, because it could be considered, Oh,
you can't read tone in it.
Well, I was just going to scream at you at the screen. And no, I'm just kidding. Christmas. Someone surprised that we would celebrate something like Christmas, being that it's a pagan holiday. Well, I'm going to kick it back further than your pagan holiday. And I'm going to tell you right now that shaman are the true Saint Nick's, right? I don't have the wording or the verbiage other than the story itself. It really comes from just the shaman delivering the snowed in homes that had the door on the roof because the snow was so high. I'm sure you heard this. We'd come down and hang some stuff, mushrooms for you, and then you'd go eat them the next day. They dry over your fireplace. That's really where it comes from.
There's a lot of theories.
There's many theories, but whatever the deception and the Toys R Us commercial version of Christmas taught everyone, that's not me. So saying I celebrate Christmas, do you celebrate it? Yes. How do you celebrate it? Well, we're not religious. So how would you celebrate Christmas? Well, Santa just shows up with gifts. There's gifts under the tree. The family gets together and has a good time. It's the one time where everyone can get together and have that good time and know that there's that one asshole cousin that sits in the corner that kind of ruins it and says stupid shit. And then everyone gets a gift and goes, wow, that's really nice. Thank you so much.
That's why my favorite holiday. That's why my favorite is Thanksgiving. It's no gifts.
Now, should it be that? Probably not. I mean, you could do that shit all year long. Fine. I get it. But you know what? To the skin suits in my mother's age bracket and up, it's important to them. Why is it important? Because they get to see my face and know that I'm okay. And they get to give me some stuff that we get to a certain age, we're getting t-shirts and shit, but they know you need it. And you get a lot of food and you get to see, not everyone gets this. So as my family wants to celebrate it, they celebrate it this way.
Right.
Nobody's going to mass. No one goes to church. No one does any of that stuff. So do we celebrate and give each other gifts? Yeah. Is it the pagan thing that y'all are talking about? Not really. No, it's nothing representing Satan Claus and all that weird shit and the pagan evil holiday. I'm going to say this, like I said it before, we are original OGs on this planet. It doesn't matter if you're from Zeta Reticuli. We were here on the planet before bodies. So I've been through the whole thing right up the middle. You have to celebrate something or you get stuck with nothing sometimes when you're dealing with large groups of people. Like my friend said, if I don't go to fantasy football, I won't see my friends. Now he knows they love him. They'll be there if there's a fight and when there's a wedding and whatever. Yeah. But he hates football and basketball, but he goes to see his friends and joins in anyway.
Right.
Because that's the group of friends. Now, should he go find new friends? Maybe not. Maybe it's perfect situation for him. Maybe it's just perfect. But then he has to sacrifice 2 hours every Monday to fantasy football, which he doesn't like to do. But is it better for the greater whole? I don't know. Maybe it is. Right? So we do Christmas. We do Thanksgiving. What's Thanksgiving to you, Paula?
I like it better because there's no present. I mean, I love Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve used to be my favorite holiday. Now with my aunt gone for a couple of years, I don't really know how I feel. I mean, I love getting together and I love seeing everybody, but Thanksgiving is easier because there's no presents. It's just easier. You just get together and it's food and it's friends and it's family and you just get to see everyone. Because I really feel Christmas is for the kids anyway. Like in our house before we had my nephews, I mean, it was just all adults. And, the holidays aren't the same if there are no children.
That's
I mean, like so you're
right
your niece and nephew.
Right.
Like, I mean,
before we
go crazy for the kids.
Before
and we wait for the kids and we get excited about the kids and everything's like for the kids.
It's more of a celebration of the children, but up alongside that line is too many gifts and a little bratty child. I get it, right? Something. All right. Before
grandma maybe buying too many gifts. Grandma gets a limit, and she goes over the limit every year.
Well, grandma's allowed to.
Well, that's what I say.
That's the one.
That's what I say. So I don't, like your brother gets mad, but she's
before
grandma.
Grayson came into the picture, my nephew, he's 8 now, but my Christmases were dark.
Yeah, because you're all adults sitting around. It's not the same. There's no one to wait for Santa,
We would give out gifts. I wanted to. All right, so I dress as Santa. Right?
Yeah, you did for many years.
Forget it. Since my grandfather did it.
I think last year was the first year you didn't do it.
Yeah, they were like, they know it's you.
Yeah, they know. Well, they even my nephew knew it was you.
I don't know. He is smart.
Frank came to my sister's house.
He's like, Frank, is that you? And
I was like, he was like, I think that's Frank. And I was like, all right.
It's Santa Claus.
All right. No, yeah, Santa Claus happens to look like Frank. Yeah. Well,
he goes, do you have a pillow? And I'm like, on Dasher, on Dancer.
Gotta go.
I don't even know what the fuck to do right now. I'm out of here. Anyway, you made the good list, kid. Here's some gifts. No, but it was dark. That was funny as hell.
Yeah, because it's all adults. It's not the same.
So for years, before the kids came back into the swing, it even got dull. Like, it's good to see you. And and you just hand a gift. I love you. Thanks. Once the kids came in, there started this really cool swing. Well, that's my family, though. Not everybody's like that. I mean, we still have everybody's here, but why is everybody got to show up and be here? Right? Everybody's got that.
Yeah,
right? I
it's like
love all you, but I want to choke
yeah,
every
it's
one
like
of you
everybody gets
at once
excited
or
for the
one at a time.
yeah.
Just line up. We'll see what happens.
Everyone gets excited for the holidays, and then the holidays actually come, and that's when
I can't move Christmas Day.
That's when
Christmas Eve
everything
for
starts.
like 4 hours is pretty much good when everyone's not stressed out.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. Man, this has got me thinking, why isn't there like once a month family party? I know, like,
yeah, but there are people. It's Sunday dinner. People used to. My family, we
Sunday
did Sunday dinner
is
all the
boring.
time.
I mean, celebrate each other, because sitting around having dinner and then wanting to leave 5 minutes after you've been there is not conducive to this situation. So, I think I said this about my grandmother. Like, when she first went down, I was like choosing to celebrate her. That shit should be gone. And I know we have Mother's Day and all this, but like literal, like party day, like it's our day to just be like, hey, Paula, you're great. But what's wrong with that? What do I got to wait for your birthday? And I mean, we don't naturally do that.
No,
but people should find better reasons maybe to connect.
Just to celebrate and connect. Yeah, why not?
If you were to move yourself away from the commercialized version of Christmas and just decided to party for a couple of days in a row, and then it ends on Christmas and you're like, bro, celebrate, let's pop off some fireworks and just have a good day, and then not let it drag you into the fucking mud. I don't see what's wrong with that, because on the upside, right, if we're going up in consciousness and everything, then I mean, you even hear it in the song Celebration, right? Isn't that like the breakthrough fucking song? Right?
But I think it's
boom, celebrate good times. Come on.
But
right?
I think it's how people feel. Like, some people feel like, and it's funny too, because you feel this way. You used to feel this way. Like, some people, like, when it's their birthday week or their birthday month. Me, I don't care. It's my birthday. I used to get my taxes done on my birthday. Not on my birthday, like on purpose, but when I would make the appointment, it would fall on whatever. It would always fall that week, and so I remember twice I was with my accountant on my birthday. I think I even bought him dinner because I was there late after work, and so some people do celebrate themselves. I guess it just depends. I just thank God every morning I'm alive, and then I start there. I thank the universe. Thank you for letting me wake up. And then I start there. So yeah, oh God, celebrate down, celebrate any way you can.
It's Gandalf the Grey, by the way, and it's a girl, so we call it Gigi now.
Okay.
It's me on TV. Okay. Look how much better the eye looks.
Look how better the eye is, and then that's from everyone sending love. Okay,
oh, that's funny. Cats always make things better, especially kittens.
Yeah. Let's get 9.
Shouldn't we space them out next time? Maybe.
No. The next time we're just gonna.
You're gonna run away.
We're gonna run away. Yeah. It's I think to say out of control at this point is we have one more mama cat that has to go for a neuter. So thank you for the donations, because those donations will be going to pay. So you have personally paid to neuter one mama. So, and thank you. We appreciate that. So we have one mama to neuter, to spay, and then we have 7 kittens that
and all
have
the boys
to go.
We thought were boys or girls.
3 girls, 4 boys, 3 girls. They all have to go to the vet starting next week. We're in a rotation, Frank and I, depending on what happens with the family. We are back and forth at the vet for the next month with 7 kittens and one final mama that's outside. We got to get her. And
she comes every night.
So thank you, because that is what that will be paying for. Thank you very much.
I got my trap neuter release cage
Yeah,
I
we're
don't
like
like having a
official.
cage, but you have to
You
have
have to
one.
have them to trap them. So
They
we
won't
got
take
the
them without it. So
yeah. So thank you. And but yeah, you know, look, we're just here to say, look, things are going to come up. We've all been going through it, and you just one thing at a time. You know, it's not going to slow down. You can beg the universe, make it stop. Please slow it down. That may not happen,
you
but
can ask
you can ask
with intent.
but it may not happen. But then you slow you down. You can't slow the universe down, but you slow you down.
Oracle Eyes, we send you tons and tons and tons of love.
Oh yes.
Have a good night
love
tonight.
and thank you. But that's all you can do. I mean, really, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, so we're prepared. You know, we did everything that needed to be done. We're trying to stay ahead of the schedule, stay ahead of the routine, stay ahead of the chores, stay ahead of everything, so that we can handle what's coming next. And it's not easy.
You know, as
can
above,
only do
so
what you can do.
below. So if we're staying ahead of a wave, abreast of the wave, always
can't
wanted
swim.
an excuse to use that.
Oh, to use that phrase.
Stay abreast of the wave. But so if there's the energy's there, it's coming in, and we all start moving and get everything clean and clear. As that wave kicks back, it's almost like the more shit you get rid of, the higher up your surfboard starts to rise on the swell, and you got a good distance. You got a couple of days, a week, and you're like, yo, I'm gonna put this off till tomorrow. I'm gonna put this off till tomorrow, and then
Can't do
before
it.
you know it, then Thursday you're like, well, I'll just take care of all my shit on Thursday. But Thursday you're gonna be vacuumed with energy, and you might need to sleep, or you might need to do 50 other things,
or rest. You know, you're gonna have to give yourself
or
the
take
rest.
time for yourself. And you're like, but I didn't do anything all week, but I had all that time to do it. Well, Chili Pepper said it, never been a better time than right now. So you get the idea in your head, do it.
Yeah.
You pay your bills online,
Yep.
right? I always send it when I get money because I already know pretty much what's going to be spent for the month. So I send everything ahead as soon as I get money to cut that bill. It's just, whew, okay.
Whatever makes it easier.
Right. So find these different ways that you can you can use these pathways to stay ahead of the incoming. See, even we're getting crushed with it, we're still ahead of it. We're still
trying. And then there were a couple of days when I had a setback. I had a setback. I woke up one morning and I just totally lost my shit.
You ain't ever seen a setback until Paula has one in front of you.
And it's funny because Frank never sees Frank very rarely sees me. Frank is usually the one that like freaks out and gets upset and just has a complete meltdown, and I just quietly try to bring him back, you know. And it was me, and it was so bad. I was 2 seconds from laying on the kitchen floor crying. The only reason I didn't lay on the kitchen floor crying is because someone just threw up on it and I had to clean it. And then
this is the hero's journey, right?
So
some days you
yeah, and it was not. And I actually walked outside of the house and I started to walk around the corner, and then I said, I don't want to walk around the corner, and I came back in the house and I cried. Yes.
Free Energy Mobile.
Thank you.
Thank you. We love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Spay neuter. 7 kittens. And we will show you the bills. This is no joke. This is 7. All of this is going towards spaying and neutering 7 kittens and 1 mama. So I had my meltdown lasted about 45 minutes. Frank has not seen me like that in, I don't remember. I think it was 2 years that you saw me. I had a meltdown like that, like a big meltdown like that.
She yelled at me once, and usually when I yell in the house, Oscar the cat will run for the window, right? He always slides across the carpet thing that's up on the window, and he always smashes into the window. So yeah, we looked at each other, and we both ran into the front door head first, like donk. Oh, and then I was like, open the door, and he's like, I don't have thumbs, you open it.
Yeah, and that was a long time ago. I mean, it was so bad that our neighbor upstairs actually pulled Frank aside and said, "Are you okay?" Because he got scared. But you know, you have to understand, Frank has a breakdown and a meltdown, and he's constantly screaming, and people think he's screaming at me. but he's actually screaming at the universe. This is why Frank gets so upset when I get mad. He's like, but I'm not yelling at you. I said, yes, but I have to listen to it. I'm in the house. So when you're screaming, people think you're screaming at me. And then when I walk out, and because I'm a tiny girl, they're like, oh my God, that big guy is yelling at that little girl. And it's like, but he's not yelling at me. So, but I was yelling at him this time. I really was. I was yelling at him, and I was yelling at Oscar because Oscar was siding with him. Oscar's the cat. And it was awful, but I haven't had a meltdown like that in so long. So the other day, I'm practically on the kitchen floor again, but I said I couldn't go on the floor because the cat just threw up. So now I got to clean it. I got to mop. I got to sweep. I got to mop everything. Hence the breakdown. And I feed cats in the neighborhood. I'm not supposed to. I feed squirrels. I take care. If it's got a face, I'm gonna feed it. That's my that.
That's the rule.
I've basically been like that since a kid.
That the rule?
If it's got a face and you need food, I'm going to feed you. And today was not one of those days. Today I yelled at everybody to get out of that. I was throwing animals out of this house like I hated animals. Like you would have thought I didn't love an animal at all.
She ran up the block.
I walked up the block.
And then stopped. It was like,
I don't want to walk up the block.
There's nowhere to go.
I'm not leaving my house.
Oh, here she comes. Run.
Oh yeah. But then I was fine because I had my moment. I had my setback. Yeah, see, Roxy's agreeing. And then I pulled myself together and I put my big girl pants on and I did what I had to do. And then it was over. And then we all laughed about it. Well, I laughed, a lot more. Frank, was a little terrified. But yeah, we all have them. So you pick up from where you are at that moment and you start over, Oh, and I didn't watch the Dark Crystal. So I don't know. If someone's making a reference to, can you read that about the Dark Crystal?
What do you mean?
Did you see that the comments? Paula looks like someone from the Dark Crystal. We started watching it, but I fell asleep. And I remember the Dark Crystal from years ago. We didn't watch that one first. So I don't know. If someone can send me a picture.
Yeah, I don't know which one they're talking about. So I just want to answer something real quick. So for those of you that are wondering where the video is for brew making or whatever, to make your own brew, to become your own shaman, you're wondering what I've been doing. It's on Facebook, but it's not on Facebook. Like I just put the post up, but it's in the FearLess family in our group. I keep it private because I don't want it reported, this, that, the other thing. So you have to make your intent to come see me personally.
Right, because we're trying to be responsible about the information that we put out.
And I have to tell you this because I don't understand what the problem is. You have to answer the question to get in the room. And I'm not snapping on anyone, but there's so many people waiting to get in we filter out people this way because people will just click, yeah, I want in. And then they won't take the extra step to answer a question that when I talk about it, it sounds like, well, what's the question? I'm not going to tell you what the question is. But when you go there, you're going to go, oh, I get it. So we're filtering through you.
Right. And we're doing it for you because we don't want trolls in the room. We don't want anyone judging anything that's said.
It's a safe zone
or anything that's spoken about in the room. We don't do that. There's no judgment. You can say what you have to say. You can ask questions. Other people in the group will answer your questions from their own experiences. So you just have to answer the question because we want to make sure it continues to be a safe space. And if it's
something that you want to be part of because it's interactive. We only have 400 people in there. Why? Some people go and come and whatever.
Because there are 400 people that want to be there.
They want to work at this.
It's not that's why it's not public, so that we can have a safe space to discuss these things
now
without judgment.
If you come in there though, and you can't find the post, right? As soon as you answer the question, I'll let you in. Hit me up, and I have a problem with emailing. It's too big a size. And every time I put it up on Google removes it. So I keep renaming it and changing it. It's just a pain in the ass.
Right. So
but you can get, as soon as you see it, download it.
So tell them it's the FearLess.
It's the FearLess family. And then FearLess family comes up because we're FearLess family. But to get to us, it's the FearLess family. It has my sigil on it with the two beings with the little egg inside the triangle inside the sun, right? It's a big blue and purple picture of that, like a symbol you'd wear on your chest to let you know that's us.
Right.
Right.
And then just answer the question and then you can.
And then that's where that information is. Now, someone asked a question. I'm going to read it to you.
Oh, okay.
It's a deep question, as it says.
Oh, okay.
Oh, excuse me. Frank and Paula, Paula, sorry for the deep question. How to deal with heavy past traumatic, really bad experience. My soul can't bear my fatal mistake. How does one cope with the weight on the soul? That's a deep one.
This is not a question that can be answered in a few minutes. So if you want to message me, but no, I'm gonna go through it. So I'm gonna be very honest. I had a lot of I was abandoned when I was a child. I had a lot of traumatic childhood trauma on multiple levels, and you know, I thought by working hard and being persistent and pushing those things out of my mind, I thought I was doing myself a justice. And it wasn't until I got older that all of that caught up with me because I never fully processed it the way I should have. So when you're dealing with any type of trauma and you want to turn towards plant medicine or psychedelics, you need to really do your research. You need to figure out where you fit in the plant medicine spectrum. And then you need to talk to other people. And if this is what you're dealing with, you should come join the group because there are a lot of other people dealing with very similar situations to yourself. You need to let go of the guilt that's associated with it. And that's much easier said than done. And I know I'm saying
sounds
and it
easy,
sounds easy.
but it's the process. It's the final part of
But
the
you
process.
have to
push through.
You have to let the guilt go that's associated with it because that guilt is just going to hold you back. You have to look at it. You have to look at it from the perspective from who you were when it happened. And then you have to look at it from who you are now. And you have to say, has this trauma prevented me from being the person that I really want to be now? Because the person that you are no longer that person. You haven't been that person for a while. And, we're never the same. I'm not the same person I was a month ago, a year ago, 10 years ago.
Yesterday.
So you really do have to celebrate any achievement in your growth. And it really comes down to self-love because it's not just forgiveness, because forgiving yourself is the hardest thing. You can forgive other people. You can choose not to forgive other people. Nowhere is it written that you're going to die a happy person, you're going to heaven because you forgave someone. Forgiveness is not something that you have to give out, but you do have to forgive yourself because you will thank you.
Thank you, Buffy. We love you
You
so
will
much.
spay neuter one kitten. You have to forgive yourself because you're holding that space. And we talk about holding space all of the time. We hold good space. We hold negative space. We hold space. All of that space you're holding becomes so heavy to hold. It's like filling a void. You'll never fill it. I was an overeater my whole life. I always, I have, and I'm just starting to let it go. I had negative body image my whole life. So I think I always stood, I always kept on an extra few pounds because I was hiding because of negative body image. And I'm 47 years old. I was looking back at pictures of me from 25 years ago, and there was nothing wrong. It was all in my head. You really have to start letting go, but you got to let go little by little. So it's nothing that's going to happen overnight.
It's a process for
It's
sure.
a process.
There's no silver bullet to this. You are it.
Right. And the way I really started approaching all of that trauma, and it's going to sound very silly, but if you try it, you'll see how difficult it is to do. Everyone brushes their teeth when they get up in the morning, and most of the time you're looking in a mirror. So if you're brushing your teeth and you're looking in the mirror and you can say, I love me, and you can say it and look into your eyes in the mirror, then that's a big achievement. And if you can't do that, you can say, I like me. And if you can't say that, then you can say, hey, I'm not so bad. and then you can build up from there. And it sounds like a very silly thing to do, but so many people cannot look themselves in the mirror and even say, I like myself. So you have to start with some form of self-love first. And then you need to find people that you can talk to who are not your family and who are not your friends, and who do not know your situation, because you want someone to be objective, and they can't be objective if they know you, because everyone, when you tell someone your story, they put their opinion into your story, and that's the problem. Everyone puts their own opinion into your story and how you got to where you are, and you're not your story. It's something that may have happened to you. It's something that you may have inflicted on someone else. It's something that you may have been a party to unwillingly. It could have been a number of 10,000 different things. But you just really have to start with self-love and say, okay, I'm going to start letting this go, because you can't take it with you. It serves you no good. It didn't serve you any good, because if it did, it would not still be an issue for you. And if you don't address it, it will be an issue until you die, and it will eat at you little by little, and it will affect every other aspect of your life little by little, if it hasn't already. If it hasn't already. I was abandoned when I was a child by my mother and my father more than once. I was with wonderful family members, but they weren't my people. They weren't my family. Oh, I don't mean that. They weren't my parents. They were my family and they were my people, but they weren't my parents. And people that don't get to spend time with their parents don't understand this. So this needs to be addressed. Like, I didn't realize it was an issue for me until I was in my 20s, and I was thinking about getting married. And that's when I realized, wow, my life without my mother, I had a wonderful aunt that took care of me, but she wasn't my mother. I had my mother wasn't there for me. And then my father should have been there, but my father wasn't there for me. I forgave him, and he has since passed. And in his passing, I had a better relationship with him after he passed, because I understood more. And he has helped me after he passed so much more than he ever did alive. Now, that may make sense to you, it may not, but you got to start somewhere. And, obviously, if you're coming here, it's because you feel differently than the rest of your family, which is how we all feel. You might be suffering from a black sheep syndrome. You might be the one they rely on for everything. Either way, you need a support group, and
Or
you
you-
need to start small. You
that
need to
Cinderella type situation.
You need to start somewhere.
With the evil stepsisters. That's another one I've noticed. It's almost like that really plays out in real life.
That's a big one. That's a recurring one for a lot of people too. That's a big
like
one.
The black sheep in the family, the girl that's like always forced to do.
Well, it's
shit
well,
for
like me.
everyone
I
else
didn't
is
get I
actually
didn't
the
get married,
gem
so I was the
in
one
the family.
that was always available to help.
But to the family, it was like the rock of coat, like the one they all kind of push shit on, and then all of a sudden, boom,
Right.
it blows open as a flower, and they're like, "Why not me?" And it's like, well, you're
on your own path.
You were you thought you were that up until that point. What are you doing?
So I hope that helped some way answer your question. If it didn't, let me know and I can elaborate more.
That was amazing, by the way.
Oh, thanks. But honestly, I mean, and all the ladies here, they're wonderful. I mean, they will defend you. Even the guys in the group, everyone in the FearLess group, everyone's got each other's back. Frank and I were commenting about that the other day, because we were scrolling through Facebook, and he was like, I can't believe the nice things that are being said, that are going back and forth.
Oh, yeah, something was going on in the FearLess family room,
just
and
like,
I started
just like a lot of love back and forth.
I got really like, whoa, I like what I see. People that never interacted,
uplifting other people,
were like,
people that normally don't comment.
Like you can do this. You got this. I've been through something like this, or like this way.
Yeah,
and it's hard.
You got it. You can do it. So
sending you love. I love. Oh no, it was someone was looking at someone else's pictures. They don't talk often, but people are always chatting in the room. So you click and I want to see what you look like. I want to put a face to the thing.
Right.
And the new picture came up with them, and it looked great. It's like, oh, you're looking great. bong, hit like. Now you're in the room with them, and the
Right.
chat's going, and it's like, hey, this, that, hey, this,
Right.
that. By the way, I really like your new pic, and you
Mhm.
look great.
Right.
And it was like, oh, love you, man. This is great. I was like, holy shit.
But it's so sincere and you can feel it. We had one of the ladies in the FearLess group going through something, and
I love you guys so much.
she sent
It's
a group
crazy.
she sent a group message out to some other ladies in the FearLess group because she needed support, and everyone supported her. Everyone, made the time to stop what they were doing, to read the messages, to give back feedback, to offer support, to offer to hold a hand, to pray, to hold space. I mean, it was a truly beautiful thing. And this lady was able to work out her problem both publicly and privately with the help of the other ladies in the group. And there are men in the group that are just as happy to help as well. So whatever your issue may be, there's someone in there who will be able to relate and to be able to help you with something.
All right, we got another one. Another, not really question, but it's kind of fits in with what's going on. Someone's dog passed away. They drowned in the pool. So it's you feel like it's your fault. Now, hold on. I just want you to know something. We're human beings. No matter how superpowery, Christ consciousness, raw consciousness. Listen, Paula had a bird.
It died. All right. Now
We have cats.
Okay. Now, okay.
It can get crazy.
Before I answer that, and I'm going to answer you with 100% complete honesty, I promised Frank before we decided to do this 4 years ago, 3 years ago, however long it's been.
4 now, I think.
If I can't tell the truth, I can't. If I can't tell the truth, I can't talk.
Yeah, that's a rule.
And anyone that knows
all
me,
truth all day.
Anyone that knows me for any amount of time knows that I tell a story about me, even if it portrays me in a derogatory light. I will tell the story accurately so that you could see all the way around the story. Okay? I am telling you, sometimes our pets, okay, we contract in this life to live this life on this planet Earth. We contract in before we're born. Even aborted fetuses contract in before. They know what they're getting into. They know they're going to be in this life for a very short period of time. They contract, they make their contracts, they stick to their contracts because this is part of the life lesson. Our animals contract in as well. They make contracts. Even all the animals that know they're going to be euthanized at the shelters, they contract in as well. If you happen to lose a pet and you may feel that it was your fault because you were irresponsible in some way, and this happened directly to me. I killed my bird. I was irresponsible. She was out of the cage. I turned my back for 1 minute. I was on the phone with my sister. I'll never forget it. It was Christmas Day. I came back from her house. Christmas Day it was right before it was going to turn midnight. The December 25th, 2015, because I met you in 2016. 2015. My bird Coco was sitting on the ball outside of her cage, which is normal. I was on the phone thanking my sister for I just drove back to my house. I was thanking my sister for a beautiful evening. She cooked a beautiful dinner. She made a beautiful photo album for all the cats that I had rescued. I mean, it was really beautiful. And my Oscar, my cat, who I love more than anything else in the world,
Yep.
got jealous. He pushed the bird. He broke her neck. He killed something that I loved more than I ever thought I could love. But I loved him. And you can't get mad at a cat for doing what a cat does. And I had to deal with that. It was my fault. I was guilty because I turned my back for a second. You cannot hold on to that because your animal made a contract and you don't know what those contracts were. So your animal may have only supposed to be on this planet for the time he contracted. You also have the opportunity to get him back in your lifetime if you want him back. you can ask, because your animals can travel between this world and the next when they're alive. And if you really need him back, you can ask his soul. You can ask him to come back.
Squeak is
He can come back to you.
Cogden's around here somewhere.
You may or may not ever know it's him or her. I can't see. I'm sorry. I can't see the
Yeah,
screen.
I'll check.
Do not harbor that guilt. You need to process it. You need to mourn it, and you need to let it go. Animals contract in also. They're only meant to be with us for a specific amount of time, to teach us what we need to know, for us to teach them.
All right.
To share love, to show love. Process it. Let it go.
All right, check this out.
Let it go.
So
I'm sorry, Frank.
No. So it should not have happened. My soul is struggling with that permanent. Can't change it in the Akashic records forever. Now, wait. Everything that's ever been done is in the Akashic records, and everything that is done that you're not aware of in your fractals is in there. So I want you to understand something. You can contact, it's you. Bring in the fractal where that didn't occur, or you were able to get over it, or you can go to where you're successful in not dealing with that, and then have having the knowledge of why they're successful and not having to deal with that, and you can take that. It's yours. So in a place, I know this doesn't help much for people.
No, it does help.
But over there, in that spot, there's a version where it worked out.
There is.
And you can access that. So that's in the Akashic records too.
And I will never say get over it, because
you don't get, I will never say over Squeak dying.
I will never say get over it, but you have to learn to let pieces of it go, and then eventually maybe you'll be able to let it all go, because there are no accidents. There really are no accidents. Things are perfectly and divinely timed in this life. You know the saying, I'm always a day late and a dollar short. In one fractal you are, but the other fractal,
there's one that you're not. There's
so
many that you're not.
You can bring those in. You can bring those fractals in. You're supposed to be
bringing that home
and,
anyway.
You don't use the word should. Do not use the word should. I should have done this, or I should have done that, because
it kills you. I should have brought Sherman in, and he's gone.
Don't
Fluffy.
Don't do it.
Thank you much.
Thank you.
Oh my.
Don't use the word should. It happened. It was a tragedy. It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
Things happen.
Things happen. Things happen.
We walk around the house and we look at things and we're like, okay, bear's drinking out of the toilet, right? And then all of a sudden one day we realize there's kittens, babies running all over the place, and the baby tried to copy him. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So now that kitten, I'm aware of that issue. So then I close the toilet top.
He was too little.
Oh, we have kittens, but we're on our 10th kitten, and I'm just putting that together. So
everything is learning. Everything is learning. You're learning every day. You think because you're a certain age, you've done it and you've seen it all. No, the universe will surprise you constantly. I'll never say get over it, but you got to let pieces of it go. And again, that goes back to self-love. You just have to say, I did not mean for this to happen. And you need to find a way to forgive yourself for what you think
that's right,
you
Rox.
did. And yeah, even Roxy's agreeing, because she always cries out.
Comments during truth.
She does. Truth. So you really have to forgive yourself, because these things happen. Things happen. I mean, things happen. I had a cat, my aunt's cat. My aunt passed away. I should have taken the cat. The cat died of a broken heart. The cat died a couple of months after my aunt did. I should have taken him and brought him to live with me, but I was afraid because of my landlady. And Sherman. I didn't take him. And the cat died alone under a couch. He could have died here, scared under my bed. He would have died with people. And you know what? My aunt came in. We had a session with her, and my aunt said the cat was going to die anyway. And you know what? The cat probably would have died anyway. But my thinking was he would have died with people here, not alone.
Yeah, with someone that cares.
I have to let it go. I'm not going to say
So
I'm not going to say let it go, but I have to let pieces of it go.
you have to. It's almost like self-judgment over and over and over and over and over.
But it
And you got to
is.
let that.
But it is, and you don't want to get further away from self-love. So if you're going to constantly blame yourself for that, you're pulling yourself away from self-love. So again, it's when you're brushing your teeth, same thing. When you're brushing your teeth, you have to look in the mirror and say, I love me today. And if you can't do that, you have to say, then you can start with, I don't hate me today, or I like me today, or today was a little easier than yesterday, because anything you say that's further and further away from hate will be closer to hope and eventually closer to love, because that's the way it has to be. I mean, it's not easy. And like I said, and I admit, like the Fearless family, everyone's very active. They go live, everyone chats. People are actually connecting with each other.
I watched a video
meeting
of
for
Aaron.
vacation. Yeah, meeting and going on vacation together.
He's met this many, 5, I'm pretty sure way more, Fearless family members in, I guess he's in the Seattle area, Washington State, and he's doing videos with them.
And that's
I'm like,
and that's amazing.
Look at all these people meeting and making the connections.
And like I get dinged because I'm not on Facebook enough, because Frank is. So like if I'm seeing anything, I'm usually seeing it through Frank's Facebook. And I don't comment as much as I should. I don't catch everyone's birthday as much as I should. I don't, send out the kind messages as much as I should. But I'm telling my story. I don't want to tell anyone how to live their life. I just want you to know that I've been through a lot of shit myself, and this is what I do to pull myself out of those spirals. I will never tell anyone how to live. I can only tell you what I've done through my own experience, and hopefully that helps, because it's not my place to tell anyone how to live, how to do things, what they should do, how they should do it, how they should go about it. I can only tell you from what I've experienced, and I've experienced a lot of shit. So if that helps, that helps. If anyone needs more information, they can contact me. But I don't want to get up there and say you should do this and you should do this and you should do this, because I can't do that. I don't know what's going to work for you. I know what works for me only because I've tried everything and I failed at almost everything, and I found what works for me.
Coming from a place of hope and using the word hope, like I hope the Yankees win, or actually just being like, oh, I'm not worried about it, we're going to do this, are two different things. No, well, someone said don't use the word hope, and it's like, look,
when I say hope, I mean it's one step closer to love. Oh, thank you again. I can't even believe this. We're so blessed.
Expanded understanding.
We're so blessed. Thank you.
I love you.
Thank you. 7 kittens, 1 mama. I try to stay as close to love as I can because I don't want to be on the side of anger. So if I have to come from it at feeling hopeful, that works for me. And again, I don't want to tell people what they should do. I'm telling you through my experience what worked for me.
Yeah, and when it comes to this, when it comes down to your choices, right, on the base layer, you come from a place of fear, or you say love, right? Well, with love, there's hope involved. It's a place of hope. Like, this is going to work out. It'll be okay. Everything's in the proper positions. You have like this faith and hope and drive that things will be all right.
Things will work out. And, the universe gives us what we ask for. So if we ask for, I'm not respected, people don't respect me, the universe says, okay, I'm going to put you in a scenario where people will not respect you. Or if you say, everybody loves me, everyone loves to be around me, they think I'm funny, they love me, well, then the universe places people in your path who will fall in love with you, who will love to be around you, who think you're funny, because you get what you ask for. You get what you think. So you can say one thing, but you can think another. The universe is giving you what you're intending.
It's
So,
what your intent is on the inside. If
you
you
know,
say it and then inside you're like, nah, I didn't really mean that, but you put on a good poker face, you get
you're getting what
the
you
intent.
you get what you feel. So if you're saying, oh my it's never enough, we never have enough, I don't know how many people grew up with their parents saying, oh, we're never going to have enough, well, we can never have nice things, look, we can never have, this is why we can never have nice things. So you remember when you were a kid, and like the couch, we Frank and I are Italian, we grew up with plastic on the couch. I mean, you sat in the summertime and you
Oh my! I
stuck to
was
the
so
couch,
sweaty in spots.
and
Great grandma.
and in the
was
winter it's ice
freaky.
cold because the plastic gets ice cold.
That couch was 38 years old.
Yeah.
It was perfect without
Yeah.
that layer on
Yeah,
it.
and
but
then they
don't touch it.
never take the couch is brand new
They go
underneath.
because you'll sweat through it, and that's why we put the plastic on there. I go, we sweat because you put the plastic on there to begin with.
Right, and a couch is not supposed to last 53 years. I mean, it's not supposed to be like that.
If you get 10 good years, then
yeah,
get rid of it.
like, I mean, look, we have a couch, we have it covered, and because we say that too. We can never have any nice things because of the cats. This is the excuse.
Because you hear this in the background during the show. Cat.
Yeah, and you hear. It sounds like little boys running through the house. So I mean, underneath it, it's a great couch, but no one would ever know. Like underneath my beautiful comforter that Lorraine Jennings got is a throw blanket that no one will ever see. I mean, so but
no one ruins anything good.
but and I'm being funny, but my point is you get what you ask for. And if you always say I never have enough, the universe puts you in scenarios where you never have enough.
Yes.
So you just got to change the way you think a little bit. And, if you're going through these issues where you're mourning and you say to yourself, I'm never going to get through this. I'm never going to get to the end of it. I'm never going to feel like myself. The universe is going to give you scenarios where you're never going to get through it and you're never going to feel like yourself. So stop saying that. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
I used to say,
just say, hopefully tomorrow will be better, or tomorrow will be better. And you declare that tomorrow will be better than this cat. You declare that tomorrow will be better than today, and then you'll see it will be proven because you can science that shit, like Frank says. Tomorrow will be better than today. I declare it all the time. Tomorrow will be better than today. Today was pretty rough. Tomorrow will be better. And I will tell you the day after, tomorrow was better. Yesterday was better. I can come back and tell you that because I already know it. So you must find a little bit of hope, find a little bit of love for yourself. Forgive yourself. If you can't forgive yourself, then just say, today I don't hate myself. Start there.
Or just I feel pretty good right now.
Right now.
I don't hate myself right now.
Yeah, that's what we do. Some hey, let me tell you, some days you got to take it 1 hour at a time.
One breath at a time.
Or one breath at a time. And, we've had the FearLess family be in situations like that, sending a post, hey, need a little support, please send love. And you know what? 90 comments, sending love, sending positive vibes, sending awesome. Good energy. And you know what? It all helps. We had this cat, his eye, I don't know how many people listened to earlier episodes. The kitten that we had to take into the house, his eye looked like somebody stepped on a grape. We didn't even know if there was an eyeball in there. That's how bad it was. I gave this cat 15 days of antibiotics. And then once his eye started to come down and heal, then I gave him the topical cream. Now his eye looks great. He probably will not be able to see out of it. But the cat it has not stopped him in any way. He's not in pain.
So you just saw the cat a few minutes ago on camera. You saw the eye was flat into its head. You couldn't even tell for a second.
She's full of life. This is the one we thought was a boy. She's full of life. She has a lust for life like I've never seen. That eye has not stopped her. So, the cat didn't realize she had a problem with her eye and that was going to be a problem. She jumps and runs and plays like all of the other cats because we didn't make it an issue. So it didn't become an issue for her.
That's Aaron.
Is that Aaron?
Yeah. So I'm going to read this. I've been waiting.
Aaron, you didn't have to do that.
Hey, man. I love you, bro. I was going to do a whole little segment at the end of this show about you, which is awesome.
No, you didn't
well,
have to
it's information. All right, wait. Part one of two. 69 equals spirit to matter,
Yes.
matter to spirit.
Mhm.
The infinite, recursive, imploding, golden ration Fibonacci spiral.
Mhm.
Us transcending this plane via meditation, yoga, entheogens, etc. Then bringing that infinite love and wholesome wholeness
So now read part 2.
back to earth in the 3D, part 2. Exactly what you guys do for the cats and others with such incredible and increasingly humanly and true love. Look,
Oh, yeah.
I love
Thank
you,
you,
man.
Aaron. You didn't have to do that. Thank you. See, this is
All
another
right,
thing.
expanded understanding.
So now Aaron,
Space Jesus, it should say.
yeah, because Frank
I
calls,
love you, man.
Frank calls Aaron Space Jesus. So now Aaron came here. We love him. I fell in love immediately.
He's a
Okay.
big, beautiful man.
Yeah, he is. He really is. And with a smile, his face glows. He actually glows. He's so beautiful inside and out. He's a very good looking man, but he's beautiful inside, and it you could see it on the outside. And we all fell in love when we met him. It was, and he has taken this FearLess family and just embraced
Under his
it.
wing and just hugged it like it.
He goes live all the time. He's
not
meeting
even that.
he's meeting
He's
people
doing
all the
so-
time.
he's doing
No,
a
but he's
lot.
sharing his story. He goes,
Yeah,
"Look,
it's beautiful.
do you know how vulnerable we are when we tell our stories?
Yo,
We're
Aaron,
setting
you're
ourselves
definitely.
up."
We are from the same cloth when it comes to sharing some of our stuff.
Oh, she's got her bag. We have a box of toys, and one of our cats, Roxy, loves to play with a plastic
So
bag.
she's gonna play with it.
She's
right
gonna play
next
with
to
it
the
right
microphone.
here, and it's gonna go crink.
Catwalk.
Yeah, she just said, yeah, she's playing with it right here. A box of toys. She plays with a plastic bag. Good girl, Roxy. You do your thing. But Aaron, I mean, how you embrace life and love, and you're so vulnerable, and you put it out there for the world to share. Like, it's really
That's
beautiful.
the hard
We were
part,
just watching one of your live video
All right, so
videos
this
before.
we'll just it rolled
Yeah,
into the clip.
and
Check
then
it.
we watched it until the show started.
Y'all need to get on the program with the FearLess Family group on Facebook. I'm dead serious.
This is what I'm saying. If you want support and you want someone to talk to, this is where you come for that. It's a safe space, no judgment.
I mean, it all goes down in there.
Yeah, I mean,
literally
everything.
All interviews with just each other, where you're like, well, what's up with you? And let's talk. They pop out
shared
forward,
experiences,
and then
how
we
to
just
handle
connect. And I'm like, I can't believe this is such a beautiful experience.
It really is. It's beautiful.
All right, so he did a video with Joanna Morgan and Aaron Morgan. Shout outs, by the way, FearLess Family. It's awesome. The way we were sending just tons of love at people, and then to go and sit with them and talk with them, and on and on with everyone. Rock has been traveling around. Shout outs to Rock. He's seen a bunch of people from the FearLess. I know.
He starts every morning with "Good morning, FearLess Family. I love
like
you."
I'm proud to be part of it. Something.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, you created it. It's like, yeah, I had the idea.
Yeah,
of
but
the
you
name
rock
and the
it
idea,
every day.
and then
you
guys came in and turned it into better than what I could have hoped for,
or
like
even
my
imagined.
Mind, my mind wasn't working like that. The way this happened.
We had a marriage.
Yeah.
We had a. I mean,
we have a lot of people that have met their other half.
We have soulmate explosions happening left and right. I mean, It's a beautiful thing. It really is. I mean, we didn't even imagine that it would take off to be what it was. We just thought it would be people, basically being able to discuss these things without judgment, but also rant. Oh, my family this and my family that, and you're the only people that understand. It has taken on a life of its own. Is there something else?
No, he loves the Space Jesus thing. He loves it.
I love it too. I mean,
dude,
Aaron,
you rock it, bro.
You are a beautiful man. I mean, physically beautiful, and inside you're beautiful. And I hope you find your true happiness, because you deserve it.
Well, he's presenting the entire experience.
I know.
Shout outs to. So, I know. So, all right.
Oh, and your friend, Nate. You make me laugh.
You're like the Obi-Wan Kenobi.
And again, I watch your videos, but it's because Frank is watching them on the computer, so I'm not on my phone. So I don't.
Yeah, we just watch them together and hang out.
Sometimes I'm like, Frank, tell them I love you, and he just writes I love you, but it says Frank Castle. It's like, no, I love you from Paula. But and Nate, I do love you. I mean, you make me laugh every single time I watch you, and you know, I just, like I said, I just, everything is usually through Frank. So it's like, oh, Paula's not really interested. And
No, we're
she's never
all
on
there.
Facebook.
That's
But it's not that. I don't want to push I don't want to push myself on anyone. You know what I mean? I'm like, I kind of hang around in the background. And if you need me, I'm here. You know, I'm usually cooking
she's
something.
the ever watching eye in the background on the creator,
But that's
on the
kinda it.
organic raw
Yeah.
consciousness end.
Yeah.
We have an eye as well.
But that's how it is.
So with all this going on,
It's just so strange. You see how the energy lifted?
yeah,
The second half of the show. You see it? Because now it's 2 hours. The second half of the show was different. You
listen,
elevated
there's
your
some
energy.
power. No, well, you
Yeah.
helped actually elevate my
Oh,
energy, and the
thanks.
Fearless family, everyone watching, the intent behind everyone, the love that they're sending, and it's most intense. I feel like co-host Frank tonight, and it
Oh.
feels good.
I know it's weird. I usually don't talk this much, but whatever.
No, it's important that you do, because I keep telling you this. You're not etherical translator, side host, this, that, like you're Paula Milo, right? So you're the etherical translator, but you're the other half of this. You're the queen of that set. So
Yes, I'm the queen of all of this. Yes.
cat queen.
Oh.
Send love.
Send love.
We send love at everyone. But all right, so new friendships get built.
So weird.
Consciousness.
And it's funny too, because as we get older, we always say, you don't make friends when you're older, because you really don't, right? It's harder to make friends when you get older because you're jaded and you don't want to hear other people's shit and you got your own shit going on. But it's like a friend explosion. It
See,
really
we
is.
need the divine feminine Paula. Listen, I need her
That's
too.
very
Look, it may be the Fearless show, and it's
That's
Frankie
very
Fearless,
sweet.
Frank
Thank
Castle
you.
Fearless. She's sitting in the seat right next to me, and as I'm getting racked and rashed and then I'm happy and then I'm sad, she's dealing with the whole thing. So if anyone's got experience behind everything that's been going on, she's been in the front seat and then the observer, and then stepped in to save people, me specifically, you know, and then she completes it. We're like the 8 loop for sure.
Yeah, but I think that's just you, because I don't have any upper body strength because of my medical condition. And Frank has passed out since I've only known Frank 4 years. No, it's almost 5 years. Almost 5 years we know each other. That's it. I mean, this happened and it was an explosion, and it's just the weirdest shit. Like, we still talk about it.
It was an explosion.
It was an explosion. Literally an explosion, because when the two of us met, for the people that are just finding us, when we first met, this man put me through anything that you could put somebody through, because he put me through every test to see if I was a legit.
So Aaron,
he didn't believe that I was legit and that I was as kind as I was. And when I told him to have faith, he looked at me like, go fuck yourself. Like, faith, you want, I have no money. I'm not working. You want me to have faith? And I said, Frank, please, if you've ever done anything in your life, please just trust me and have a little bit of faith in what I'm about to tell you. And he was like, no. And it was horrible when we first met. And then once we got through that and he actually tested it, things started to go smoothly. So I've never seen anyone faint. Anyone faint as much as I've seen this man faint in 4 years.
Oh, let me tell you something.
I have no upper body strength.
I'm telling you how hard it is to knock me out. I'm not even joking. It takes a monster to do it. And I've literally just tapped myself and been unconscious at least 5 times in front of her. I've thrown up to the point of blacking out and smashing my face on things.
At least.
The one time I got drunk, you had to carry me in. I was fainting and blacking out, throwing up over there, throwing up over there, throwing up over there, shitting myself over there, running outside, falling on my ass over there. Paula carries me.
I carried him. His mother ditched us. She dropped us off. He gets out of the car. He faints up against the car. She doesn't realize this. She pulls off and drives away. I get him on my back and I get him to the front door and then I lean him up against the wall. And with my bad arm, I got him up against the wall and I'm trying to unlock the door. And then I carry him into the house and get him to the couch. And he says, "Did my mother bring me in?" And I just looked at him and I went, "No,
My
it was
mother's
me."
got leg muscles like Big Papa Pump.
My goodness, she looks like
They
she
look
could
like his
deadlift.
biceps.
She's his mother.
I'm like,
Frank's mother's got
where'd you get those legs from?
She's got the sexiest legs. She's 67.
Mhm.
She's got the sexiest legs I've ever seen on any woman. She looks like she could lift 200 pounds. She ditches me. He passes out. I have to get him to the house. I get him in the house. He goes, "Oh, did my mother help?" I said, "No, it was me." Passes out, hits his head on the toilet. Passes out, hits his head on the kitchen sink. Passes out, hits his head somewhere. I have to carry him. So now people are saying, "How are you carrying him?" And I'm like, love. It has to be love because I have no upper body strength. I have one good arm. I have cerebral palsy. It affects my right side. It's a hemi. So the entire right side is affected. My left side is good. This man has put me through. You don't even know, but it's love. I know now.
You know.
I know. But it's love. So
for sure it is love.
Yeah. I mean, I've never seen anyone pass out like this.
I've never passed out like that. I've had my issues before, but it's almost like when I gave in to the relationship, not gave in, that's the wrong word, submitted to the love, part. When you're supposed to go with the flow.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. When I did that,
Mhm.
it like, you don't even realize you're anchored in like 6 places still. And then you go, well, I'm going to go with the flow. I'm done. Like, we know each other now. I get it.
Yeah.
I've seen the examples. It works just about every time. And and this was what I was talking about earlier when I was jumping in and out of the situation, looking at it and the drama that's being caused. And then you're standing here going, why am I doing that? And then you go back in and then you So you're the cause of your own stuff most of the time.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Or you're just adding to the collective crab in a bucket situation.
We're always in our way. We're always in our own way. If you just move out of the way and stop getting in your way and you let stuff happen.
Since then, we're certified.
Oh, yeah.
With the cats.
Okay.
And hold on. We've become a tag team of ridiculousness.
A unified front.
A unified front. Like the new DX.
Yeah.
Right?
Because it's an imminent threat. Right? So we have to be, all of this is an imminent threat. Look,
Thanos
don't mess with my bubble. I work very
inevitable.
hard to keep this bubble of protection around my family. Don't mess with my bubble. I'm happy. I'm at peace. I don't bother anyone for anything. Don't mess with the bubble. And that's how I feel. I work very hard to put this protection bubble up. And I want to keep it safe.
Yo, my dude, you just made me choke. I'm reading everything in here and you guys are amazing.
So what does it say?
Oh, but if it all works out, family situations and all,
Okay.
but the family's paying for our everything. And
we got to talk about that.
We'll work out everything.
We were listening and then we had to stop listening. So I was
screaming from the other room. Why do I keep hearing mine and your names over and over in a trip? I don't know what's going on over there. She's like, we have to rewind it. I didn't hear it. Because we were like getting ready and everything. I had, as a matter of fact, right above me on the screen
have it up.
Is Aaron.
We have it paused.
Joanna and Morgan.
Right.
Joanna Morgan, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so all right. So the FearLess family comes together and creates this place now.
Yeah, but you see what they just did. We just created
I know,
this beautiful
but
place.
now
isn't this so much better than doing it the other way?
I keep trying. She don't take it. Watch. You go over there. Okay,
I feel funny smoking on air.
No, I know it's weird. Hey, anybody notice the A-Team van right up front? Right? This shit is boss. This is the original one. I went and I paid like $20 for that thing. I know you're like, what'd you pay $20 for it for? Well, it came in the case and it was perfect. And then as soon as I got it, I just ripped it out and was like, yeah, I'm putting this right here. And the guy was like, what'd you just do? And I was like, mind your business.
So when my
I play
nephew,
with the toys.
so when my nephew comes over, he's got the A-Team van, and then he's got a couple of the Fast and Furious cars.
Come on, you got to.
So
Vin
my
Diesel, bro.
so
Come
my
on.
sister
I
has to
live my life quarter mile at a time.
Well, quarter inch at a time. We depends on
Around
what's
here,
going on.
quarter an inch at a time. We got this.
So when my
Tortoise
nephew
wins the
comes
race.
over, he sees the cars. So my sister, he just started first grade, and no, kindergarten. Sorry, kindergarten. And my sister has to frisk him before he leaves all the time because he tries to secretly leave with the Fast and Furious. So his birthday came, and I bought him a whole set.
So yeah, that's all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Remember?
that's right. You
yeah,
got him.
he got yeah,
oh,
he
the-
got
all the-
excited. Yeah,
I was going. Oh, I know
yeah,
this car. I know this car.
yeah. So this way he doesn't try to take your.
Because so you could be like, I got this already.
Yeah.
I don't need this
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, I like that. I was showing Grayson. I go, hey man, look at everything. He's like, yeah, we got all this. I go, no, you ain't. You don't have
smoking
none
on
of that.
air. That's why I don't
Just
like
go.
it.
Just
I know.
step off
it's
camera.
my,
Go.
I know.
Go take a bathroom
Okay.
break. So we created the Fearless Family Group, and then the Fearless Family Group created itself, and it's one of the most wonderful things to watch. And I'm inviting you as we speak to this.
Yeah,
but
just answer the question.
But
like legit,
come
answer
with
the
intent,
question.
right?
When the guy who said to hunt Frank, no bueno, you don't get in the group that way.
My dude, no matter how Rambo-like you think you are, everybody's got a plan till they get punched right in the face. Not that I would do it though. I'll come
Because
visit you
to get to
spiritually.
Frank, you got to get through me, and that's not happening. What are you reading?
All right. So Frank and Paula, I thought I loved Mikey, my dog, but I wasn't in love or being loved when he died. My fault. Everything being said is so true, but I failed horrifically. All right, look, I'm going to tell you this. I had a dog, and a situation really went south, and I really feel when I lived in Florida that I didn't put my all in, and in the end the dog got taken and this dude just ran off with him. And I didn't that day I did all I could, but leading up to that I wasn't very good. I just wasn't good for a dog. And there was a small period of time where I was, and then the people in the house they were just terrible people. And then I think I pushed that onto the dog spiritually. And then the dog kind of moved its way over to the little girl in the house and just kind of stayed with her. And in the end, I know now for a fact that was Squeak, my cat, who was a dog at the time. It's the same spirit just being with me for an extended period. The way it came in was the same exact way. They all come in, and now that I'm old enough to recognize this, I'm like, yo, I left you in Florida and then you got robbed. Right. I should have just scooped you and taken you as well.
But you weren't ready
All right,
for the
but
experience.
I'm not hanging myself. Look, Sherman the cat literally, this woman right here has Oscars #1 and all that other stuff. She loves everyone equally. Trust me. Sherman, he was special. It doesn't matter who says what around here. Okay. This little orange baby, this little sherbet looking cat. The day Squeak died, I was sitting outside crying.
2 days.
Right. And then this little orange cat just came out of nowhere.
Yep.
A fucking kitten, and jumped on my lap and licked my face and licked my beard and was purring. And then I started crying, and I had this thing where I can't love you because I just my love was just ripped from me and is dead. And I don't
Right.
I can't do this
now.
now.
I don't have room to love you.
Yeah, I don't have room to love you. And I didn't take the cat in. Okay. Sherman was our best fucking friend. Okay. And then because we didn't take him in, he went through the winter outside. And then he was almost freezing to death. Then we finally took him in, and he was already a changed cat. And then
we tried to get him in, but he was already now afraid of people. But we were feeding him
and
every day.
Everything after that point was just not working.
And then it got cold and it started to snow. And I said, this cat's not going to make it outside. Someone dumped him. He was a house cat. He probably was someone's house cat. Started to go into heat, or the person had to move and couldn't take him with him. So we dumped him, because feral cats know what to do outside in the wild. They know how to find shelter. They know where to go to hide.
This animal stood.
He stood
on the porch upstairs in the wind, facing
in the
wind.
snow.
like George Washington at the edge of the
He just
boat
didn't know what to do.
and just stood there waiting to die
So
in that wind.
We took him in.
He was freezing to death.
It took one night. It was like hours. And then finally I just got him and I grabbed him and we got him in, and the other cat too, Buddy. They didn't want to be inside cats.
Right.
So fine, we got them neutered. We fed them, we
No
let them
matter
out,
what
and then we let them
happened.
back in. But Frank felt because he didn't take him in that day he came, he appeared as a kitten, that he ruined the cat's
Hold on.
life.
She's being gentle. This cat went through a horrific life. He was terribly sick. Then we got him. We took him to get clipped because he was a little bit older. It fucked him up.
He was in a lot of pain.
Yeah, a lot of fucking pain, and there was nothing we can do about it, and we didn't know what to do. And he was a little prick because when he was little, he was beautiful, and
Right.
he would let you like just play, right? No, not in this motherfucker. Now he's taking chunks out of me here, hanging on,
But
and then going to sleep next to me on the bed and letting me pet him.
But
and I'm
again,
like, what the fuck?
told you cannot.
Hold on.
No.
So I'm telling it because of him.
I know, but I'm telling you, you cannot blame yourself.
I'm not blaming myself anymore. I'm telling the story. And in the end, this is what happens. He just disappears.
He disappears.
Never came back. I've drank and I asked, and I've asked over and over, and I keep getting, he's gone. He's here. He's not there. Right? Others don't want to believe that. They want to hope and believe that someone picked them up and did all that. But I know Sherman. And I would break into tears over, first of all, Squeak, right? No matter how sick Squeak was or whatever, he got attacked by a snake man in front of me, in front of some other thing that was trying to kill me, as far as I was concerned.
And that's my point.
Right. He took the hit from me.
That's my point.
So there's Squeak he's more man than me.
Right.
He's this big and took a hit from a snake man as long as this room.
He took the hit etherically for Frank. And the cat ended up paying
hard to forgive yourself
with his life. And that's something that Frank has to work on.
But
what I'm saying is, even if you feel you didn't have an attachment to this animal or you were responsible in some way, you're going to have to find a way to forgive yourself or own and accept what happened.
I had to own up to it
every
time.
Own and accept it.
Hey.
Or forgive yourself.
Parker.
It's going to take time. It's not going to go away. But there are other things in play, is what I'm saying. So maybe that situation needed to play out
for other situations to occur.
Like sometimes when something comes into your life, it's not for you. Sometimes we meet people just so that they can introduce us to the person we're actually supposed to meet,
or the group you're trying to listen to.
Sometimes they come in. People come into your life very briefly. Even people that you don't like come into your life because other events need to unfold and take place. So maybe that needed to happen because other events need to unfold and take place. I'm just saying, don't define yourself by that one action, because you're not that one action.
Yeah, you're supposed to, from that, let's say that was worst case scenario. Hold on. Worst case scenario. We get tossed down from the top dimension all the way down into density. We make the best and we do the best we can. Worst case scenario. So what do you do from there? You get up and now you know. You have the knowledge now. Can you be trusted? Well, now you know. You know. It's like, well, I screwed up, but I would never screw up again like that. Nothing like that.
It's
and you be more, so your awareness goes up and you're more conscious of it. So now you can be better.
Look, everyone has that dick move they go back to. You know what I mean? That move they feel comfortable when they have to make you feel bad about yourself, right? That thing they do, that thing they say that knows it's going to push that button for you. Everyone has a go-to move. You decide to use it or not use it. Do you know what I mean? You know, we have a friend of the FearLess family, Brian Gasca. He knows what his move is and when he makes it, and he hasn't been making it, and things are okay, and he's okay. and he allowed the purge to happen. And once the purge happened, the purge didn't stop. It was months. And, then he got through that, and everything that is thrown at him, he's managed to overcome and continues to overcome. And he's only getting better and he's only getting stronger. And, you can see the growth. He can see it. He can feel it.
If you're at the bottom of the emotional spectrum,
Where
feeling
can you go?
Can it
You
get
can
deeper than this? Only if my own life was taken. All right,
No,
stop.
but you could only
That's not what's going on.
You can only go up.
Yeah. So then you go, well, this happened. It's like, well, that sucks. It's like you're a dick. No, I'm not a dick. No, I no, it didn't happen at a non-love or nothing.
Matter.
Shit just happens.
Shit happens.
So if you left the dog outside and
Doesn't
a hurricane happened and you were at the store and it just hit the tornado, it's your fault the dog was outside. It took half the house. I mean, you're going to blame yourself for that stuff?
It doesn't matter.
It's not like you locked the door in the car.
It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter what the scenario.
Well, I know I feel I'm connected to it. I feel the depression there.
No, I understand.
And it's like you got to work out of that. There's only one way to go, is up. You can't sit in shit.
No, you can't.
I'm a bad person. You notice hell is you judging yourself, right? That's hell. Literally hell. You're in, I'm so bad, I don't deserve anything on the inside. So you're saying that shit all day.
Right.
And you're walking around because of that one thing. Now you're going to let it ruin other people might rely on you. Yourself relies on you. You got to come out of that. That's like giving yourself cancer. Do you really want to do that? It's like literally taking cancer and going, oh, you know what? Let's just put this right here. Right. Okay, I feel so bad. Like you can't sit in that.
No.
You're allowed to do it. Yeah. I stand here sometimes. I would look at the picture of me and Squeak on the wall and burst into tears. Just and then when I'm done, it goes away. She'd be like, listen, it's okay. I get the whole speech with it. And it's like, you're right. And then boom, it's gone. And then I do it as many times as I need to until it's done. I question myself and I feel bad, but I won't let that drag me into the mud, because you know what? On the inside, I'm not a bad person. I'm not a bad person. Shit happens sometimes. Man, I'm not going to give you any, but I have fight stories where people didn't do anything and their friend next to them got beat up and people question that person forever. And you never let down that persona, because you fall back and retreat into this. Oh, I wish I could have did more. I've seen my friends kill themselves. One of my friends took heroin and threw himself in front of a train because on his path of destruction, he invited me somewhere where I went and all these guys jumped me and stabbed me. And he knew that was going to happen, but he was going to try to make everybody friends. And he knew that, right? Then he felt so bad, okay, that he did heroin and threw himself in front of a fucking train. And all it did was ruin everyone around. It's like, look, man, I would have talked to you after that. I would have.
Right, we could have worked it out.
I would have worked it out with you, man. I would have literally worked it out with you. No, I don't want you to die. I don't give a fuck. Like,
right. You didn't have enough self-love to think it could
you
work
can't
out.
do that stuff. It killed the mother. The mother was the brother went down it was like a crumbling block. Because I'll take myself out of the game, and then everything crumbles around the love that was there for you. It just it ruins everyone. So you can't do shit like that. You can't put yourself in self-imposed hells and think what other people might think about you. Look, it's out in the open. We all love you, right? We send you love. We send you love. You're going to be okay. Right? I get it. We could keep going down this rabbit hole all day and be the mirror for one another. Well, I did this and then this happened and I'm okay. Well, I love you. And then you hold a friend. Remember, here's my experience. You hold the mirror for me and thank you. And I love you. Right. But we got to just, it's a domino effect, man. It's hard. It's not easy. You have to work your way out of that, right? There is no time limit.
No, a little bit at a time.
There's no success, failure. If you're trying, that's success.
And if you, like we say, and I say it all the time, you try and if
You
you
just
can't
found the
do
way
it,
not to do it.
and today's not a good day, then give yourself today and start tomorrow. Start from wherever you are. That's all you can do. Start from wherever you are. What do you think this is? There are some days when I don't want to. 2 days, I don't get out of bed. I don't get out of bed. Sometimes I don't take a shower because I just physically can't. And that's just the way it is. Nothing is going to change it. Nothing is going to change it. I'm having an episode because of my condition, or I'm run down and I just don't feel well, or something's got me spiritually. There's nothing you can do when that's it. That's it. I mean, I used to work. I would work 12 hours a day, run errands after work. Most of the time I was in school at night because I got my degree at night.
When I hear what you used to do, I lose my breath.
I know. I don't even know how
The
I
daily
did it.
routine,
I,
I'm like,
I worked about
what are
10
you,
hours a
nuts?
day. Then I went to school. I went to school till when I got my associate's degree. I was in school till my class ended at 10:45. I already worked a full day. I slept in my car at lunch for like a half an hour, and then I would go to school. And then it would start all over. On Saturday, I'd do all my cleaning and food shopping and everything I had to do. And then I'd sleep from Saturday night all through Sunday, and then get up Monday and do it all again. And then I said, I can't do this anymore. I'm killing my body. And my doctor told me right before I stopped working, he says, if you don't slow it down, I will not support you anymore. You'll have to go to another doctor.
Yeah, because it's you doing it.
I will not witness this. And I was shocked. I was like, you know what? If my doctor is getting on me like this, I really need to change my life. And the funny thing is, my family didn't get it.
Most people don't even.
My
give a
family
shit.
didn't get it because they didn't understand what kind of pain I was in, physical pain, because of my condition, working and doing all these crazy things. And then when I wasn't, I was always working. It was ridiculous. It was insane. It was insanity. And I live such a different life now. I don't even know how I did all of that. I can't lift a case of paper towels by myself. Frank.
Yeah, but you don't. All right, so nobody in my family
no,
knew that
no one
you
ever
even
knows.
had an issue
No,
because you
no one-
don't
Nope.
ever say anything,
No, I
and
never
you
say a
don't mention
word.
that you're in pain.
No, I never say a word.
But
Never.
I said
Never.
to I remember telling my mother for the first. I'm like, yo, take a look at Paula and watch her. Don't say nothing. Just watch her from move to move and just tell me what you think. And then she's like, oh, does she limp a little?
Mm-hmm.
Does she have a problem with her shoulder?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it her arm? I'm like, it's her shoulder.
Well, now it's everything. It's down to my hand because whatever. It's fine.
Point being,
Yeah.
people don't even notice. It
I
was a year
know.
into it, and we're
I
still
know.
trying to convince her that there's a problem.
I know.
But if
Then
we
they're
don't make it a
negotiating with
problem-
me and telling me, well, it can't be that condition. Maybe it's something else.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something
It's like,
else.
thank
And
you
I'm
for
like,
telling me
no,
what
no,
you think I have.
I have the paperwork. Thank you. I have believe me, I have the paperwork. I have the license plate to prove it.
Listen, hold on. You owe it to your dog, Mikey. If you're saying just like Squeak, snake men, you feel that dark energy and that the dog took the hit for you, you owe it to that dog to get the fuck up right now.
Honor his memory.
Not only honor his memory, we got snake men to get, bro.
Yeah. Retaliate.
Listen, spiritual warfare is a
legit thing.
Not only is it legit, I'll bring Ra on the show. I'll have him talk for 10 hours straight on spiritual warfare tactics. Okay?
Rules of engagement.
You can go and pay him all a visit.
Rules of engagement.
But you have to go in as the creator.
Exactly.
You have to know you're the all if you're going to walk into the snake pit.
Exactly.
Right? What did Conan do? He just rolled in there, right? The snake was gigantic, and it turns and looks at him, and it sees the girl. He likes the girl that's in his party, and that the other guy's like his brother. So he just grabs the snake. This thing is gigantic. It's like 20 feet long or whatever, and just stabs it, and then holds it quietly because they got the ceremony going on upstairs. And if anyone hears them, and he's holding this monster, that's us, bro. Right? Spiritually. That I don't want you to go around doing anything stupid, but spiritually, you could go throw the hammer. I went and paid everyone a visit. I actually pay him a visit quite often. I pay them all visits because energy just recycles. I just put my little tag on it like they do to us. So I can follow you anywhere.
My shoulder.
How's your shoulder doing?
Ow.
See, there's a problem. I told you, Ma. You're not listening.
Oh, she didn't. Yeah, she had a hard time. Like, when I have an episode, it's like people. And again,
I'll go
I never
with you
talk
into that
about this. It's
stuff.
just
I'll
funny.
walk you into the snake pit. I'll go in there with you.
When
You ain't alone.
when I need to rest, because physically my body won't go, and she doesn't understand. So we had to explain what when Paula needs to rest means, and still she's a little suspect, I think. But whatever. A lot of people don't get it.
It's all right. We try to as we I am, we are, we become the observer, right? We jump in and out of the activities now.
I know.
No, because when we go, hey, take a minute to have some breaths. Like, we got guys in the group and girls in the group that literally took this literal, which they should. You should, if that's what you want to do in the moment. Take a few breaths, step back from it, don't react,
Say nothing. Do
and
nothing.
just kinda,
do you know how much?
and problems are just getting solved in weird places.
Let me tell you something.
And then saying no, thank you,
Let me
no,
tell you
thank you.
something.
It's not for me.
Frank has
Thanks.
come a long way. We were faced with a situation this month, and I said, Frankie, trust me. Do not say a word about it. And he was like, I don't know if I should let that go. And I was like, do not say a word about it. It's going to take care of itself on its own. And he said, okay, sure, fine. I'm not going to say anything about it. It's not an issue anymore. So, sometimes we have to get out of our own way, and we have to take a minute and think and keep our mouths shut. I think 50% of your problems would be solved if everyone knew how to keep their mouth shut. And I don't mean it like keep your mouth shut. I mean, like, think before you talk. Don't talk just to use words.
And don't talk to hear yourself because you think you sound good.
Think about.
I read a book. I'm knowledgeable.
Think about the impact of your words.
Don't regurgitate shit to me, bro.
And a lot of problems will be solved because we're sciencing that right now. A lot of problems. Look, if there's no gossip, there's nothing being shared. As soon as we hear it, it's like, okay, we got to go, or okay, it's time to do something else, or okay, it's time to stop what we're doing.
Not to say that we're free of gossip, because we do some gossiping, but we don't the way you would think, like, oh, you know what they do. No, we don't do any of that stuff. It would be situational gossip. Like, did you pick up on that shit? You think is that what's still going on? Exactly. You're still playing that role? Like, that kind of, that's like discussion into it, but there's still gossip involved in that. Yeah. Everybody in the chat is just on fire.
I know.
I want you guys to know you're all doing it. You're all doing it correctly.
Keep your protection up, everyone who's fighting something. Just make sure your protection is up all the time. You can just say it once and it's done. But however you put
your routine.
However you put your protection up, just make sure it's up.
Yeah, it definitely shields up.
And around the people that you care about.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something funny. CC, I
gotta shut this light off. It's bothering me.
I have a buddy who came here, and he told the story on the show. When we first came here, he walked in, and I went outside.
Oh yeah.
I let him in. I said, "Here, you go in," and then I saw like an outline of another guy standing there. So I'm like, "You coming?" I knew right away what it was. I was like, "This dude just left his demon at the door, right?" But he goes, "Nah, that's all right." And he just leaned up against the door and he goes, "I'll just wait out here." I go, you got to wait out.
You're not
wait out by the gate.
Yeah.
You're not allowed over here.
That's when you learned how
Get the fuck out of here, right?
No, that's when you learned how far my bubble of protection
goes.
Yes.
So then I was like, I go, "You sure you don't want to come in? I'm just being a responsible host." He's like, "No, it's all right. I'm not going in there." So I come in, and it's Josh, right? So he rolls on me, and I'm like, we start talking. I go, "Yo, you left your emo boy at the door, right, Mister?" "Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I'll just wait here. No, I ain't going in there." Meh. So he goes, "What did you just say?" So I go, "Your emo buddy's outside." And he goes, "Oh, my wife." She goes, "You're being emo Josh again. You're getting into the emo mode. You got to get out of that." So we had a good laugh about it, but I'm like, "Nice. He's really outside by the door for real." Right. And then eventually emo.
Yeah, he stopped coming.
Yeah, you don't come around here no more. Like, I had this when I had it my demon, right? So it came out of my feet, and like came up over me when I was laying on the bed and rolled up, got right in my face, and it looked like humanoid, and its eyes were yellow. A lot of times the dark has like yellow eyes. And it like flashed, and then it went back into the darkness. It was like a smoky, translucent, very fingers were long and shit. And then it went, it sounded like a little girl. And I said, "Oh," I was deathly afraid. I was like, "What's gonna happen to me? This thing just came out of my feet. Is this my moment?" And then I went, "Oh, you sound like a little girl. You got to get out of here." And it was like, "No, please don't let me go." And I go, "Who's that? Who is that?" I go, "Why would I bring that?" And they were like, "See, you don't even realize it, that when you're smoking cigarette after cigarette, and then having coffee after coffee, and then this after this, and then a line of cocaine and some weed over here and ecstasy over there, or people over here doing this, and then you're inviting that to the party
Right.
because you don't give a shit about yourself.
Because you're lowering your frequency.
You're just in the
Yeah,
pit,
your vibration.
right?"
You're
And I'm
lowering it.
like, "Wait, what?"
Mhm.
Right? Like,
Mhm.
then I saw that and I was like, "Well, that's no bueno,
No.
and we're not going to do that again." And
No.
I was never paid a visit back by that being. Actually, I said, "You have to leave." I demanded it, like, or commanded it, whatever you want to say. And there was a being in the shadows next to me that was preparing me, as like, he was whispering to me like, "Don't be afraid, like, you'll be okay." And I was like, "You're dark. You're a dark being, but you're a good guy." Like, I knew he was good. And he goes, "I'm not a dark being. I'm the color." And it was like a shade of purple, but dark, like the blackness. Like, it looked like it was in the corner, but it came out and was like, and I'm like, "Oh, you're the, so you guys go by color variations?" And he goes like, "Yeah. The darkness isn't bad. It's what hides itself inside the darkness.
Right.
The darkness itself isn't bad." So I'm the shade of color, and I'm one of the guys that rock the consciousness that's rocking in that group, and I'm here to make sure. And then when I demanded it left, he said, "He told you to leave," and he was like, it sounded like a little girl. "I don't want to go. Why are you doing this?" And he grabbed it. I say he because it sounded like a him, and just tore it off of me, and it was gone. But the being was still standing there afterwards, was like, "Are you okay?" And I go, "Oh." I was doing that like a, oh. And then I went, "I feel really good."
Right. Because it's not eating off of you. It's not taking energy.
Wow. I didn't know that you can feel that good.
Because
Didn't know. Dude, I've hit home runs. I've run for touchdowns. I've sacked people in divisional sports. Okay. Right. And I've been on stage for 25. That none of that was even that much of the day I knew I felt that good.
because that energy has to eat.
Yum, nom,
And
nom, nom.
it makes you behave a certain way so that you feed it energy.
Yes.
And that's what it wants you in a constant state so it can constantly feed off of the energy. Okay, so that's why when people say, "Why aren't you acting like yourself?" It's because you're not acting like yourself, because something is taking your energy.
Yes. Absolutely.
The entities that take
See, that's
your
another
energy.
thing. As you go into your depressive state, you
Yes,
invite in emo version of
in.
you.
So what's happening on Frank's block where he lives, to get back to everyone moving in at the same time, being the same age, and now everyone on the block, on the physical block where Frank's grandparents live, they all happen to be around the same age, so they all happen to be passing away at the same time. So what does this cause? This causes a frequency of decay
To be locked in
and
into that area.
and death. So what's happening is all of these entities that want to feed off of that decay and death are coming into the area. You know, we go to Frank's grandparents' house, we have to clear the house every time we go because his grandma's was doing up until today, was doing hospice in the house. So every time we go, we have to clear and transmute the energy because those entities want that energy
And they'll keep
of
coming
this
back.
woman who is decaying and dying. It wants the energy. So now we have a block of older people that are getting ill, and this energy is coming in. That's why the energy is always very uplifted around children. where there are communities with a lot of children and a lot of dogs, and people are happy because the energy is good. So the entities are good. It's the same thing in bad areas, where there's a lot of crime and, poverty. The entities eat. That's the energy that they eat. That's how they survive.
Right. Listen, you start cutting them off from that.
Yeah.
Things get out of hand because they'll start attacking everything around you, but
you
you
change
protect
your
it.
you change your
Somebody just said it.
frequency, and that energy can't touch you. You change your frequency, that's it. It's not a match. It's not a match to yours. It cannot touch you.
Yes. So I love the comic book references. I think it's great. For those of you that understand this reference, use it. I'll explain it. The phoenix rising from the ashes. Now, that's you. Each one of us is the phoenix rising from the ashes. An example, in the X-Men, Jean Grey is the phoenix. She's
Right.
so powerful. She's the one, the Phoenix Force is the one force in the entire multiverse. So it's only one Phoenix Force. So in their universe, it's like saying the light being that could hold that energy. There's only the one character. She becomes like the Jesus character, right? But it turns her because it's too much energy. So we're told, right? But no, when you work through that and you harness it and you work at it and you're like, it is me, I am the Phoenix returning, you can put that protection up in the house. Now, did anyone see what she did in the movie? You can etherically do that to everything around you. Shields up, transmutation,
right?
Cake, light swords. Like, don't make me laugh when it comes to that stuff. The power of the you, the I, the great I am, we are. Just walking in the room, the light just tears it away.
Right.
It's like vampires in the sunlight, like right on the sun. It's like taking a vampire and in complete darkness and then just putting it on the sun. And it's like, what are you going to do? Just go. He's already gone. He's been gone for 5 minutes already. Right? That's how potent we are. Like, we're more than that because we are the sun. All right. Aaron knows this. Aaron's live right now. I am the sun. Sun. It's me. Sun. Sun. It's me. Because we're stars in the sky. We're made of the star stuff. You're the energy that makes the sun do the sun's thing is a soul. It's like a being in there that ascended into that position, right? And then can do that. Well, that's you and me and you and you and you and you.
Yeah.
So you can throw that down into a place. You can bring it in. Reiki people they'll send that. All right. So Gina did Reiki once, and then I watched a beam of light come through the ceiling and smash squeak. Remember when we were, I physically saw it and then felt it like a hammer, but of like ultimate protection and love, like Bubble, that guy, he can't get touched again, like only with love, only, and healing. And it happened. And I was like, whoa, I've seen a lot of stuff, but I never seen someone do that. So now imagine people that do that are doing it, right? So then you can do it. I'm not saying that everyone's a Reiki person. I'm saying you can send energy. You start to learn it. You start to understand it. Some people go and learn Reiki. Some people like me or Paula, we send love. We can scan and remove stuff. We all do it in our different ways. We send love ahead.
Send love ahead to everything.
Right? It's all like details of the same stuff. And we're breaking out and we're capable of doing that. So you can blast the transmission. I think now that I'm high energy, really high energy. We're like hours into this. I think I collected a lot of stuff in the last 2 days.
I'm sure you did. We were in a funeral home.
The fact that they're not aware and I'm aware means that I'm responsible. That sounds too hubris. If you're aware of something, you're usually responsible for it if it includes you in some way, shape, or form. So you're in an agreement of some kind, not only to show up out of respect, but we're here, so we're gonna just collect some of this stuff while we're here.
I see what you're saying.
We're
gonna
get it. We're gonna take it out of here because it doesn't suit no one here.
Right.
That's what they say the black sheep of the family does. But I'm gonna remove the black sheep of the family thing and just say you have a creator standing in the room that's a couple of them that are well aware they're creators.
Mhm.
So they're going to be responsible on that level for
Yeah,
those
to do
things.
something.
Right. So
Yeah.
the demons that are in
It's
the
like picking up your
place.
trash when you leave the beach.
Right.
You know, like
Well,
take it with you.
in this case, it would be like walking through the room and collecting everyone's trash,
Right.
and then throwing it in
and then transmute it on the way out. That's what you do.
Interesting.
So someone is asking, how do I put my bubble of protection up? So I've been putting it up since I was a kid. So I think of Glenda, the Good Witch in The Wizard of Oz, when she comes down in the bubble. So I put that bubble of protection.
What movie was that?
The Wizard of Oz.
So it's all right. So they know.
Yeah, I just said it. So I think he's going to the bathroom. So I'm only kidding. I don't know what he's doing. Yeah, I pictured that bubble. I put it around me and everything I love, or everyone, all the time. You know, I start out with the bubble of protection. You know, I put it around. You know, I put it around everyone I love. So I had years ago. I had a very good friend. He was a psychic from New Orleans, Joseph, and he was my psychic for a very long time. And he did a reading for my sister, but he didn't know she was my sister. We were going to introduce everyone after. And after the reading was over, he had said to her, you know, I have to ask you a question. It's a personal question. If you don't want to answer it, it's fine. But I see this bubble around you and your son, and I'm not quite sure. You know, I think I have an idea of what it is, but could you explain? Do you know you have a bubble around you, and do you know there's a bubble around your son? And she says, oh yeah, that's my sister. That's my sister Paula. She puts a bubble of protection around us. And then he realized that you know, we were sisters, and then we ended up, you know, we were friends. And you know, but I mean, he saw the bubble, you know, and she had to know it was true because he saw the bubble and he asked her about it. So, you know, that's just how I do it. You know, I think you say it, you think it in your head once and it's done. And, you know, if you think you need to put it on again, you just ask for a bubble of protection again. Or you could use the white light of Christ. You could do it any way you want. You could put a scuba suit of protection on. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's whatever you have to do for you to feel protected. But for me, it happens to be a physical bubble. Like Frank's in a bubble. Like my sister got into a car accident one day, or she avoided a car accident one day. She was I forgot where she was going, and she said there was a it was like a, it would have been like a pile up, and she said she just missed it, and she actually felt where the bubble ended because her car was in the bubble. Her car was like in do you know that game Sorry, when you used to press the
Yes.
bubble?
The bloop, bloop.
Yeah, and it goes ooh, ooh, yeah. So she said she felt the car in the bubble. So she called me from work because my sister questions everything. And she said, I believe in the bubble of protection. And I said, why? What happened? And she told me, and I went, see, I told you. And, you know, and then, you know, now she believes. But yeah, that's all I do to put the bubble up. I don't know why the camera, it's not clear. I think
You shut the main light source off behind us.
No, I don't think that's it. It looks grainy.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
So it's a lower.
all right. That's fine. That's fine.
It's okay.
Okay. Is there any more? I can't see anything now.
I'm glad you enjoy the references, the comic book stuff. That helps a lot of us, man. You know, I've asked comic book artists where you get your information from. You know, a lot of these guys are like, well, through experience, through fantasy, through this, through that. And I'm like, yeah, what else? What have you read? And then you start finding out that they read all this crazy stuff, and you're like, oh, I get it. I get it. And then once again, the guys that did Doctor Strange, the movie, had to go see the mushroom shaman, that black martial arts guy that's crazy, that just eats crazy amounts of mushrooms. And he put everyone on acid and mushrooms for like 2 months. And then they put Doctor Strange out, and it looks exactly like a DMT trip. Go fucking figure.
It really does. Like when I remember the first time I saw it.
So the movie comes out. We've been discussing the stuff that happened in that movie, our version of it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
A year to almost 2 years before that movie came out. And I'm like, so then new people would come on and say, hey, you see Doctor Strange and think you're running a radio show now? And I'm like, what? You realize that they couldn't get Doctor Strange right, so they sent the writers to Shaman. Shut up. Think before you speak, right? Like I've been out here for years doing this now. We're way ahead of that program, but you're seeing it every day. I wasn't ahead of The Matrix. The Matrix was out before I had a clue what was going on. I fell asleep in that movie, and then when it came out on home video, I couldn't stop watching it. So it just wasn't the right time.
Right.
Well, that's like all that info's in there too.
Well, that's what I said to you. I read Esther Abraham, and I was already practicing The Secret, so I thought I was ready, and I read it, and I couldn't get through the first. I don't think I got through the first 2 chapters because it just. I don't know what it was. It just didn't. Every time I picked up the book, something happened. I had to put it down. I don't even know if it was I don't even know if it was the content I couldn't get through. I don't think I got through the first 2 chapters. And then I had been listening to her on YouTube years after, and then I unpacked when I moved, and I had her book. And then it all came back to me. I remember reading it. I wasn't ready. I was like, I don't understand this.
Yeah.
But I had already been doing The Secret. I thought I was ready.
You read the book and then you think you're ready, right? Everybody does until a reptilian walks in the room. I mean, literally.
But honestly, it's like all the regression therapy and the QHHT therapy. I mean, some of that stuff I did 5-6 years ago, I'm still putting it together now. I mean, I think that's a great thing, but I mean, you really don't think you're getting that much out of it, but you really are. I mean, to be connecting the dots years later. Yes, Roxy. See, she agrees with me. To be connecting the dots years later. I mean, that's amazing.
One of the things I like to do to protect yourself, picture like the different colors, right? So like gold, right? Like a golden circle around you, a sphere, your aura. Or right over your body like Iron Man would wear. And you do gold, and then you do like red, and then you do blue, and you try the different variations of energies. So they're layers for things to have to pass through before it gets to you. So stuff in this, if you just have one, like your light shield, they call it, it's just white light. That just attracts things. It will stop certain things, but pretty much not that much. Right? So that's your base layer. That's your aura. Your aura got gray. Your aura got bright. Your aura got that. Okay. You reinforce the aura. So when we say shields up, the comic book references, your force field is around your spaceship, right? And it's right. But they're attacking you with missiles. Okay. Well, we need this force field. Boom. Okay, that worked. Oh, they're shooting a laser at us. Well, that shield ain't going to work. So put up the other shield that goes around that shield. Boom, boom. It protects us. Oh, now we got something going on. It's like, wait, I've learned how to make one shield out of the 2. Boom. Now none of that shit gets in. So as you progress, it just keeps getting more intense. So I would say every like few inches from myself, I would try the different colors, like the color blue, and be like, blue force field up, and then see what works with that, and then put behind it the other one, and I layer them the way I feel will work best for me, and I have that rotating in and out of my aura. So you try to come up in there, I'm going to be aware of you coming up in there. I had a weird experience with George Cavassalis when I first met him. I didn't meet him in person. I met him on air, and I was sitting with Baz, my brother's co-host, and right. So I'm sitting with him and my buddy Eric that came to drink, right?
The redhead kid.
Yeah, right. So we're sitting there, and George is talking to on Truth Frequency, and he says something, and I'm listening, and I was told to check and see if he was a reptilian. That's what I was told to do, right? By many people.
Yeah, you told me this.
So I was creeping up on him from behind, etherically, and I saw his bubble, right? So he had his back to me. And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, "Oh, he's not a reptilian. I don't think so. Wait, maybe the front, maybe he's a shapeshifter or something." Because he was on fire that night, and I'm like, "This guy's really good. It can't be a reptilian." But why is everybody asking me to check him to make sure? So I see his little bubble. It's around him. It looked like the trouble bubble, and I start to pierce through it, and I'm like, and I go through, and I swear I was right behind him. and his head just turns and looks at me, and I go, "You're not a reptilian," and I fell backwards. He goes, "Hello, Frank," and then he says hello on air to me, and I almost shit myself. Bazza freaks. He goes, I can't take this around you. Like he couldn't funk to any of that. He thought it was dark magic and all that. And I'm like, no, I was just I was locked in on him, and I went into. So then he goes, "Hey, Frank, how are you? You like that, huh?" And I go, I try to sneak up on you right there. And he goes, "No, I know." He goes, "You entered I let you, I knew you were there. I let you into the bubble and then showed you, nope, not a reptilian."
Well, you were the only person I let into my bubble. Let me tell you.
Oh,
let me
Paula's
tell you.
got the unbreakable force field.
When we first decided to do this, I said, if you really, when Frank and I met, he said, "Wow, I can talk to you about this stuff." And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I wanted to read this. Firestorm, diamond bubble up in pen. All right, so like picture.
Oh, I like that.
Okay,
Diamond
being
bubble
in the
up.
center of a diamond, right? And then
with all those facets,
it's got
multi-facets.
Is that what that's
multiple
called?
facets, yeah.
So each one of those
Yep.
lines is a
Yep.
facet. Okay, cool. Learn something new every day. Impenetrable, because diamonds, you're not getting in there. And then mirrored on the outside. So Shiva taught me this a long time ago. He said, just roll around in a sphere that's
Conan
mirrored.
Movie when he
Conan,
he goes into the house.
Is there anything there?
Yeah. No, in Conan the Barbarian, he goes into.
And in Conan, he's in Conan 2, with Schwarzenegger. He has to fight the sorcerer in the beginning of the movie, and he steps into the mirrored room.
Yeah.
And then the sorcerer is like in every mirror.
Yep.
And what does he do? He had to go around and shatter the mirrors.
Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. And those were each a facet of that guy's fractal.
Exactly.
But those were
but that's
false.
Awesome. So it's a diamond bubble up. I like that.
Oh, wait. And then layered with I was trying to think of the color before, violet, and it wasn't blue, but blue works too. But the violet flame, right? You can just cover yourself with it and blast yourself with it, cover the outside, cover the inside. And then if they even get through that, they can't see what's there. It would look like it's just their own reflection. So it's just like being surrounded by mirrors that are impenetrable. That's pretty dope. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. That's a good one. I'm going to use that myself. I just put myself in the so I'm going to spin mine. You guys shine laser lights off it and let's fucking party. Sorry. I just wanted to let that out. Well, we're 3 hours in. We just hit the 3 hour mark. And sometimes, I really feel like we get growth on this when we have the momentum to just roll the way we did. You get to grow with us during the show. I feel like I'm not going to be where I was at the beginning of this show.
Oh no, you're totally not there.
Because I've already broke it.
You raised your vibration.
No, but I'm not going to actually go back to that
frequency. I always say that wrong. Frequency.
Raise your frequency.
I do it. I switch it all the time in my head. I say it wrong.
It's amazing what we can do when we concentrate and work together and focus, and then work alone and be aware that we're connected to the whole, and then move through these things. It's quite amazing.
Oh yes, it is Abraham Hicks. I'm sorry. Abraham Hicks was the book that I could not read for years because I did not understand.
Well, so someone says diamonds can be brittle. Right. Well, we're layering. We're layering. We're baby steps. Some people can only do circles of color. Other people can do other things.
Well, that's why I do a bubble.
There are many ways to go about this.
Yeah, it's easy, and that's all I can muster sometimes is a bubble, and it works. It's effective. Tell them the bubble story when I let you into my bubble.
Well, my favorite bubble story is it was like a frog being trying to get in, and it was like playing the I'm not touching you, but he couldn't touch her, but he sat up on her, and she had a blue light going like this, and she was just eating popcorn. I think you were watching Game of Thrones.
We were watching Game of Thrones in the bedroom.
I'm like, you ain't getting near her or Game of Thrones, like you're bugging. But he was in like meditating on it, like, well, I got you, and literally nothing was affecting her.
Yeah, and you
She
would
was
tell
just
her
like,
that. and Frankie's going, do you know you have this being in front of your
because
face?
that
And I
thing
was
at
like,
that
I
time
know
could have kicked
something
the
is
shit out of
there.
me. That's why I was bugging out. But it's funny.
Yeah,
You
I don't know where that comes from.
So
I don't know.
you
I
in
guess
the
it's from
room,
being taking care of yourself at a young age. I don't know. I don't know where it comes from. I really don't.
maybe your internal structure just works and knows, and that shit,
Uh,
like you're like having faith and this and that.
I
All
think
that
so.
bases
I think
the
so.
properties to this
Yeah,
impenetrable
I
force
think
field.
so. So when Frank wanted to learn, I guess how to be more spiritual, when we met, I said to him, if you're really sure that this is what you want to do and you want to learn, I will open my
Oh
bubble.
shit! Yeah. When sorry about that. When
He hits my bad arm.
if I didn't say sorry, she would have never known I did it.
I felt it. I still feel it. Ow! It still hurts right there, right where my
Oh,
finger is. Right
it
there, it
hurts?
hurts. Yeah,
Where?
Right there. Don't do it.
Well, no. If it's gonna
Don't
hurt, I
do
want to
it.
make sure it hurts. Right? Does that hurt?
Every time he does it, every single time.
I'm not touching
I don't know
you.
why I don't know why he does this.
So,
Yeah.
I wanted to learn. She's able to scan. We're on video. I could just do this. So,
Oh, that's right. We were never on video before, so he would always make these hand gestures, and no one would ever see them. That's right.
so she would lay down. First, she would do this to me, right? So I'm just going to use the example, and then.
Oh, you feel the heat?
Yeah. From here.
Oh, I feel it. I feel
to
it.
here is like.
Do you feel the heat?
Erupting with energy.
Oh my god, I feel it in my jaw.
Right. So it's a scan.
Weird.
So right. So my third eye is activated.
I feel it.
And I'm able to close my eye.
Yeah, do you feel it?
All right. I can
feel it
see
in
my
jaw.
arm, the energy around it. I could change it different colors. And she lets me in. So I always ask permission first. If Nick was funny when he was here, he's under DMT and he goes, I need your help. I don't know who I am. And I'm like, you want the full service? No, I go, so you want to let me into your energy? So he goes, dude, I want the full service that I'm here. I go, well, you got to give me permission to come in. I won't just come into your energy like that. And then he goes, you have my permission, come in. And then it was like, right, I'm here. But Paula always gives me permission because I'm only going to do nice things. And then I would scan her to see, like, if she's having an issue, she'd be like, yo, could you scan me for a second?
Mm-hmm.
And we get energies rotating again just by, oh, let me clear this out. It's something's going on over here. Naturally, it might be food, it might be something you ate a long time ago that's in there. You might be having a bad day, whatever it is. You'll be having lady issues and there's just problems with movement and stuff. And then blip, everything starts moving again. And you go, what? So she would do this to me. And I'm like, it would take my headache away, take parasites out of me, like etherical parasites, demons gone, reptilian things gone, those kind of energies gone, this thing stepping in the room gone. I'm like, I want that. I want to do that. That's what I want to do. I want to know how to do that. And then she had to let me into her energy, and I agreed to learn. I was like,
shit up in there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Y'all create a monster. Aya told me that in the very beginning. She goes, no matter what they do to you, I want you to know that it'll only make you stronger. And I go, who's going to do what to me? Who's going to do what? And then they showed me, and they just showed me stuff. It wasn't like, oh, these guys are coming for you. And I was like, wow, there's everything's going on out here. So I was more it's like being in the cantina in Star Wars, but more like a crowd, and it's all different, and they're all in different positions. Everybody's watching, and then just randomly things come out and come at you, either friendly or not friendly. And you're like, what? And everything's got a fucking agenda, everything. So I want to know your agenda at all times.
That's fair.
These days, right? I try to stick to my higher self. And then I always, when I greet beings, I'm like, yo, y'all are the highest frequencies. Even your weird dark ones at the higher frequency, if like there's frequencies like 7, I want to say 7D, but it's just the frequency that you hit. You can be dark there. I'll talk to them because they have crazy gnosis. It doesn't matter that I'm from whatever or whatever. I'll be like confused in something, and they'll give you legit info, and I'll discern them. I'll know they're dark, and I'm like, doesn't matter. What are you saying? right? And it resonates. And I'm like,
Right.
And they're like, I don't want nothing from you. I have no nefarious deed. I just told you. And then they kind of go back. And I'm like, wow, even from that, that's why I always say the poorest to the richest and everything in between, everyone's got the puzzle piece. Everyone's got something.
Yeah,
That's,
I think
that's,
I
that
agree.
will
Everyone
help
has a
something.
piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
They don't even realize it. They
So
have it.
it's most intense when that stuff goes off. And
that's why they hate these chats on
I feel like
YouTube.
all of our shields, like
They
everyone in the
hate-
room.
No, everyone
I'm
has their
sorry, put my hand
protection
in
up.
the
I could
camera.
tell, but that's why they
Golden
hate
pyramid
this.
around yourself.
These YouTube chats.
Pyramid's just
these
a half
Facebook
diamond, by the way.
These cliques of people, like-minded people, sharing ideas, sharing their life experiences, sharing the fact that they know
This is what
that
crushes the system.
what we've been told our lives is not true. And it's not really our parents' fault, because
'Cause
I
they
don't
didn't
think they knew
know.
any better either.
No, they didn't know.
You know, I mean,
The ones that knew better did something to,
you know,
or were too afraid to speak.
it's nice to have a place to come where you really won't be judged for what you believe. You know, I decided not to have children. There are a lot of people our
Yep.
age that are deciding not to have children. Why? There has to be a reason why. I have no reason not to want to have a child in this life. I knew from a little girl.
You know, one of the reasons why
I
we're
knew
not
from
having
a
children.
little girl that I didn't want to have a child in
You know
this
why?
life.
We knew.
They take our
somewhere in there,
baby
they've been
every
taking
time.
the genetics of our
Our
DNA. It's just the way it works. I saw them doing it over and over. You've heard it on other shows where they openly discuss, and you know exactly what shows I'm talking about, where they're like, yo, that's going on. They're in there just taking the DNA right out of you. So over lifetime and lifetime and lifetime of them doing it, your soul knows what's going on, right? Your oversoul's like, yeah, we're not having that this time. And then Frank goes, you know what? I'm not having that this time. And then I don't know why, but he knows why. And we're working in this weird, he's like, all right, he's getting on board. He kind of gets a hint. And then as we move up to this point where ayahuasca Frank pops up, smokes DMT and sees it, eats mushrooms, learns how to cope with it, regrows the neural pathways and goes, yeah, not only is that happening, all this other stuff is happening. But you see how casual it is now? Because other people are like, you know what? That I've seen that. Like people say to me, or I've heard people say, I haven't had an experience like Frank's. Right. Yo, Michael Britt in our room, shout outs to FearLess family. He's had my experiences. He talks about them openly when he does his little short burst when he talks to people. He'll talk about that. Ron Forrest advisor has seen it hardcore, works in it as when he goes under. So there are a lot of us that have those experiences, but not everyone's a loudmouth like me. A lot of these guys are sitting back, like they'll talk to a small group of people, place where they're safe and comfortable.
And I've never seen
because they, maybe they tell their significant other only or not.
But I've never seen a being. I've felt them. I've kind of seen an outline, but I've never really in your face seen a being. I think I'd shit myself. I don't think I could handle that. I don't know if I could handle that. I mean,
which is probably why you're not seeing
maybe
it.
I'd be able to handle it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, a lot of shit doesn't fuck with me. I mean, Frank gets attacked all the time.
Seeing it is one thing.
Frank gets
I
attacked.
find that watching it move is what fucks me up completely. Watching them move completely
But
different right in
wouldn't you
front of
say
you.
that, like,
that's what makes your heart.
the last
like,
time that you got
freak.
attacked, we were fighting. You were in there. I thought he was not talking to me, and
I
was like,
was having a seizure in there.
no. But meanwhile, here I am thinking like, oh, fuck him. He don't want to talk to me. I'm not going to talk to him. Fuck him. I'm comfortable. I was watching TV.
And then it turned into.
And then I went in there and I was like, oh, you crying? I was being such a dick because I could.
I wasn't crying. I was just shaking.
He was seizing, and then immediately I said, what did I say to you?
First thing. She goes, I think you're getting attacked.
You're getting attacked.
Because I wasn't showing any
You're
signs
getting attacked.
of it being physically me.
Look.
Like, you know the difference of when you're having a seizure, when someone's hitting you. All right. Picture an invisible water cannon hitting you, making you shake. Someone would say to you, they don't see any wet. And they're just like, what's going on with you? You're just, and it's like the invisible water cannon. and you're just, that's what it was like. And then later in the evening, after everything was okay, she kind of saved me from that, helped me through that. It happened
Fight
again.
seemed insignificant at the time, right?
Fucking dropped me. I don't even want to say, they weren't tasers, they were frequency weapons.
I think it was a military thing,
Like
and
there were military dudes in the house, so
and I think they used.
I was like,
what do you
"You're
call
a
that?
guy." I go, "You're a dude in a mask,
What do you call that when you're
and you're wearing a military outfit?"
when
Oh
you're
no!
When you're using telepathy in a fuck, what do they call that? I'm high now.
When using
telepathy, remote viewing.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it was, and if something happens to me, you know why? Seriously, I think it was the military and remote viewing that got Frank.
All right, I have a different take
Because
on it, but I get it.
Frank saw
I saw the neighbors getting it.
He saw through the walls.
There was no
and
walls
he saw the
anywhere. I go, "Where's my fucking
being
desk?"
stopped, right? They were
just, oh, we're on camera.
They were frozen.
Hold on.
You could do it now.
Son. So check it out. I was standing here, right here. My neighbors are that way, right? So here there's really nobody. So I looked, I'm like, what the fuck? I saw the outline of everything. Like it wasn't solid lines. It was dotted not dotted lines, like dash, like as if an architect was like
making plans.
This is
blueprints.
where
it looked like blueprints.
Yes, it was like blueprints. So I was like, oh shit. So the desk is there, but I'm not seeing it. I see the like art version of it, like the blueprints, the diagrams, and right across from me, I'm like, there's no wall. Now I've been shown this before. They're like, I had my head in the shower once, and I was going, oh god, and they're like, oh, you think all this is weird? Wait till you realize the wall's not even supporting your head.
Right.
And I went,
and that's when you
what?
saw...
And I almost fainted. And so anyway, I looked across and I saw the mother and the youngest son standing in the front of their house, the front room, like this, and beings just walking in, like piling in. Excuse me. Just piling in the room, surrounding them. And I'm like, it's happening to them too. So now that we're on camera, it's beautiful. They came, it looked like a hole opened right there. Not even a hole. It looked like a saxophone of energy. And then out of the hole, people just started walking out into the room. And I'm like, I was feeling like I was dying. I was doing that, and I started going Wim Hof. Like I didn't know what the fuck to do. Right? I'm like, this isn't me doing this. Like I knew I wasn't seizing at that point, and I'm going, man, there's a lot of you in here. I guess we're going up into the spaceship, but I'm not dying. So it's not. So is it a frequency thing? And I'm asking questions, and I turn back around, and they're standing all around me, and I said something like, "Wow, Shaman Jimmy would understand this really intense," because we used to say to each other, what did you see at today? What percent of HD version of whatever it is was talking to you? Because he had the vision as well. So we would say, oh, 65% or 100%, where you're just fucking mind blown. You're like, dude, the mantis was sitting on my lap talking to me for real. I pet it. It shook my hand. We flew off into space. It was fucking real. Right. So I was saying something like, well, I always see it like 20 to whatever percent. And then this being was standing right here in front of me, right where this is. And he was like, what about right here? Like at 30 something percent. And I fucking went, he was where the desk is. He was right in front of me, standing up, looking at me in the face. His head was like this big. He was thin, wearing an outfit. And right next to him, there were two military guys. And I was like, I backed up. That's how I saw them right away. And I said, you're a human. Oh no, I was fucking freaking out. I was like, this can't be happening. I pulled this can't be, man. So the bathroom's right there, the little entrance. And I ran into the bathroom and I had to pee really bad. I was going to pee in my pants. Then suddenly I'm finding that I can't pee because I'm fucking scared. So I just pull down my pants. I'm trying to go.
Then you got you.
No,
you
he
started-
walked in the room and held it up to my face.
You started burning up. Remember?
Oh, that was all just part of the No, though, that was when you came back in the room to get me. When they knocked me out of my body, the being was standing with me. There was no wall. There was nothing in between us. And I was trying to pee. And I heard someone say, that's enough. That's enough. It was like my higher self stopping me. And I go, oh, that does feel okay enough. And then he went, just as I looked into the camera right there, he picked up this thing. It looked like the Ghostbuster gun. And he just turned it on. Bang. And I go, what? I can't hear you. It's so, and it was just boom, 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 boom. And my body was on the floor. And then I remember the light being just standing there looking at my hands like, what just happened to me? And I was on the floor. I saw them surrounding me and I saw all military people. This is what it felt like. So it felt like they can go into this area that we're not aware of and physically be present with you in the room, right? So they're physically there. They could poke you, prod you. They could do all kinds of shit. All right. They were I felt like military was being there with them to make sure something happens and to test certain things, because there was like one ET for every few guys. So there's a couple of guys and then one ET with them. I saw them. They looked like fucking squads of people just piling in. And I'm like, this is so odd. Like I jumped onto my body. They had this weapon pointed at my body, right? And I'm going, I didn't know it was freaking. It sounded like sound, but you couldn't hear it. I jumped on my body and it was like jumping on, I couldn't get to my actual body. There was like a layer of thickness. It was like Jello. And I talked about cracking through it and getting back in and then calling for you. And it took me, I kept.
Oh yeah. You said you had to save up your voice.
They were standing over me, like saying shit like, she's going to find his body. And she's going to think he killed himself tonight from all these different things, stress and whatever. And so they're just not going to know. And I'm like, that's not fucking funny. Like,
not at all.
I was going, that's what powered me up. I go, Paul, like I remembered and I just was like, nah. And then I was taking, like, I could not fucking breathe. They were hitting me with this weapon. I get the breath. My higher self goes, stop doing that. So I just went, and then they go, now say it. And I went, Paula. It was crazy. The first one, I don't think you heard. The second one was pretty loud. And then you came running out. So I'm telling, all right. Do you want to take over at that part?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So I said to you at one point, they're in the room with us, right? And I'm like, yo, I'm being attacked
and
in here.
I said, they're not allowed to be here. They know they're not allowed to be here.
She does this wonderful thing.
Just on the rules of the universe, they're not allowed to be here and they know it.
You're breaking
the rules of the universe.
Yeah,
so the universe is going to level the playing field. And what do? They send us 9,000 fucking cats. And you know what they do? They transmute that shit. And you know what? That'll never happen here again because the shield is up.
No, well, check this shit out. So this is what freaked me out. I saw a bubble that we're talking about, like the half bubble. The half bubble came over this house and the next house. It's like, boom.
That's no fucking joke.
So it trapped me from being able to like reach out and contact Fearless Family for help. So there was like this alone feeling, like that whatever they generated around me, whatever bubble doesn't match frequencies, like it fucks it up for some reason. Wait, but the story gets better. Okay. Paula helps me up and I'm
once again
on the floor right here, getting up.
Once again.
And the being is standing right in front of me. He turns from the bathroom, like he was right here. And then he's just pointing it in my face.
And I'm like,
see him
no.
cranking the fucking gun.
No.
And I'm like,
no.
No more. And it fucking, when I said no more, I could barely get my hands up. I was like, nope. It went, womp, back the other way. And I went, oh, I got right up. I was like, guess what, bitches? And now this happened with the AI. The AI trapped us away from each other. I was in a bubble, like an egg bubble, like a force field, and my physical body was crying because there was no connection. I wasn't connected to source. I wasn't connected to you. I couldn't find you. You were right there, and I couldn't find you spiritually. I heard you screaming down the hallway, my name, it's okay. And I'm like, listen, you spoiled fucking brat. It is what it is, what you're doing to me. But check it out. I kept touching it because I touch everything. So it hurt, but then it didn't hurt. So as he was showing me shit, or this thing was showing me, I started going, check it out. You have moments before I walk out of here. And when I do, it's going to be whether I'm going to be compassionate with you or I'm going to throw you the fucking beating of your life. And I walked through it and it was like, go, bye. And it zipped into the background. So I'm like, wait a second. We can match the frequency.
It's that easy.
And then flip it.
Yep. You're not welcome here.
So I was like, it's up. Gig is up, bitches. But it wasn't quite as fantastic. It sounds movie-like when you tell the story, but really, if you were to watch me, she was the star of this.
No.
I just had you walked in, I got on my feet. It was like bringing the other energy into the room. They can't do anything to you.
No,
I don't understand.
Nothing.
All right, so check it out. One of the things I do know, say one of these military guys hauled off and just punched Paula in the face. The natural violation law would all right, so this is what I've learned since then. If they do that, something like that, there's nothing stopping the other side coming right in.
Right.
It collapses the wall on them.
Right.
I didn't make this agreement, and you're here.
This is just how
unjust. It is. You're on my property, bro.
No harm shall come to me.
We cut those contracts, son. So now you're dealing with a free man. I'm free. I don't need your fucking permission, and I don't give a shit. I just don't. It's just the way I roll, and she doesn't either. And when that comes into play, spiritual warfare, where they're attacking you from that plane with frequency weapons, if you can make the adjustments make the adjustments faster, or then I have this feeling that as I'm telling this story, all y'all are getting all of my codes. Like, you guys can match the frequency faster than I did, but I went through it, survived. They couldn't Max Spears me. You know what I'm saying?
Do you know
that was one of the guys they said he'll wind up like Max Spears. He likes that jerk off. I was like, wait, what? It was a guy talking. I was like looking at him like, dude, I'll punch you in your face, but I can't grab you. I don't know what the fuck's going on here. It was weird. It was a fucking moment where I was in the negative and then I couldn't reach anyone. And then I was back in that room with them and then back in my body. And I was aware of all of that. Wait, so now when they use that on a certain amount of people, I'm thinking creator beings that are leveling up should now have the option, if you're aware of this,
to
be like, no. Oh, am I getting attacked? Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
And you'll automatically have exactly all this stuff because it's free. We just give it here, take it.
Do you want to know something? I'm having one of those moments. I think I'm having a checkpoint right now. I think I'm actually having one of those checkpoints right now.
I had a massive deja vu earlier when we broke free of my shitty attitude.
I'm just gonna, because in the first 3 minutes I wanted to kill you. You were like being mean to me, and I was like, well,
no, it wasn't meant towards you.
I understand that, but everyone saw it, so it looked like it was.
That's right. You become the hero later in the story, anyway.
Well, I'm always a hero.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm happy to be the Robin to your Batman.
This is who I decide to be, so no doubt, seriously. So I'm having a checkpoint moment right now. So not only did an experience like that ever happen again.
Oh, they're afraid of us now. They're like, yo, that shit doesn't work. You'd have to kill me. You'd have to like shoot me dead.
Actually sent things to combat that. They sent basically an army of cats. And I'm just putting this together now. We had talked
about this. This is crazy.
We had 5 mama cats that went out and had litters. Now, before we could do something about it, the first litters were born.
By the way, I'm dropping the white papers to the weapon I was talking about.
So one of the
There
mama
you go.
cat's
Enjoy.
original kittens,
It's exactly what they used on me.
we spayed, and she's an outside cat because we didn't want her to have kittens. Well, another mama had kittens and started bringing her kittens, and then another mama, and then another mama, and it blew up into this explosion of kittens. So thank you again for to the donors. I mean, that's just beautiful and touching. That's exactly where the money is going. And you know, we took it upon ourselves to get all these mama cats spayed. We can't get the males. We've tried. Now we took it a step further. Now we're going to try a step further. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I'm having one of those checkpoint moments, and I think what we did was the universe sent us an army.
No, it did. We kind
I
of
think
discussed
all
this
of these
once.
kittens may be soldiers in this army.
Listen,
And it's to level.
I've heard.
No. But listen to me seriously. I'm seriously
Come
having.
on, let it out. Tell me.
Seriously,
We got a
having
whole
this
crew
moment
here
right
having a
now.
moment with you.
No, seriously.
Seriously.
It sounds so fucking ridiculous. But think about it. We have all of these fucking kittens. We have 4 males and 3 females. I can't even say it because it sounds ridiculous.
Does it though?
And then we have that other mama cat that's going to be useless because she's scared of everything.
Look, one of the things I saw, this is going to just match perfectly when we had
No, I'm
I
being
went outside
totally serious.
and I smoked during the day. No, I ate mushrooms and I sat outside, and remember I was saying Hop's family was tweeting, and this thing, this like spiritual dark energy went to come over to me. And I was just sitting in the chair having coffee, and I was like, yo, what the fuck is this? And then they started tweeting, and it was like little explosions going off in this dark being.
Oh, I remember when
it
you
was
told
just
me.
a consciousness floating there, and it backed up. And I'm like, yo, we feed the birds. And then on that level, when they tweet like that, and you're like, what the hell's going on?
But you have
on a
to
spiritual
realize
level, they're blasting shit away from your house.
We do feed the birds.
This is like their place too.
We feed the squirrels, so we're under their protection as well. We have plants outside, so we do appreciate and love nature. We do give thanks to the elementals. Why wouldn't they want to defend their home? Do you understand?
Yeah, but now.
But I think that's what's happening, because the intention is that these kittens are all going to go back out. You know, I mean, we'll provide food. We can't provide shelter, but we'll figure something out in the winter. If we have to let them in, we'll let, whatever happens.
We got to do.
Yeah, we'll do what has to be done. But, I never, there has to be a reason.
No, I've seen, look.
There has to be a reason they're all around now.
Look, we've talked about what the cats do. You've heard other hosts, people that we were friends with on other shows that have diesel information, man. The cats, when they're flicking their tail, like my cat Buddy, the wolf dragon, I went under, and then it was right after Squeak died. They showed me Buddy, and then he broke open, and I said, no, don't take another fucking cat from me. And a fucking wolf-headed dragon came out, and it was like, no, that's your boy. And then its wings came out, and I was like, yo, I ride this fuck. Like, this is, I have a wolf dragon. This is crazy, man. And then Little Bear, we call him Little Bear, right? It's like the biggest fucking joke you've ever heard. You see the cat, it looks like Black Panther's cat. You're like, this cat is fucking awesome. We rescued it back to health and everything. And then on the other side, right? Because when he lays a certain way, when he's little, he looked like a fruit bat baby bear head. Like that's just what he looked like when his eyes were sticking out and all this other shit. Then he healed up. I went on the other side, and he was like Black Panther body, like of a panther god. Dude, I can't explain it. It was like not paws, hand, claws. It was crazy. And the head of a bear panther. And I go, are you fucking kidding me? He filled the room, and they were like, remember Sherman was the he was the real Baba Yaga. He was We had the booba la la la. That's what we used to call him, la la la. And he was the faux dragon. He was the dragon with no wings. And
Yeah,
he would
the
follow me
Chinese food
around.
dragon. Yeah.
And that thing was potent, just like it would roll in the room with me. And if you had anything nefarious, it would just attack, it would take you out. It was dangerous. Well, Bear looks like the guy that you send to go capture the other guy. That's how intense he looks. Like, oh, it's like having a werewolf panther man.
But
bear.
imagine what these stupid kittens are, right?
know.
These cute,
Look at
cuddly.
this.
No, don't even. These cute, cuddly little furry nightmare kittens. But think about it. I mean, it's not what they do here; it's what they do there.
Right. They're walking around in this environment.
Right. And as long as they're cared for in the earthly, they do what they
Some
have
of them
to do.
are us. So I noticed that.
But that's just the way it is.
Some of them are accessible by us.
Believe it or not.
So then when the cat's like really friendly with you, like overly friendly, like in laying with you and you're loving it, it's almost like you teaching you how to love.
Yeah.
And when that hits you, you're like, so are the cats real or not? They're like, no, that's a real consciousness. Like the bird was Source when he died. It was like Source said, that was me in there.
I know,
rocking the bird, and then you had a choice to take her in or not, and it wouldn't have mattered either way to me.
Yeah,
because it is what it is. It's just the way this matrix system runs. But you have the choice because you were aware and you chose to take me in. So I was sitting
somebody
in
was
going,
on vacation. When somebody was on vacation, somebody else was getting it all.
So they're like,
set
so
up.
You saved me, and all right. So the bird died, but we watched Game of Thrones. Wait, the bird knew. We watched Game of fucking Thrones together, and the bird was like digging under my beard, watching the movie. I was like,
at least he died a noble death. Yeah.
Then ate massive amounts of food.
Your mother thinks we overfed it.
Wait. We sang songs.
That's right.
Right. Remember, I brought him in the bathroom.
Remember, we made that cage for him. We put it on top of the baker's rack.
We still have that piece in there, and it was like a screen. All right. So I brought him in, and so then for 3 days. Before the 3 days was up, I'd go, you ready to sing? I put a karaoke song on, something light, like acoustic or whatever. And then I would just sing. I forgot what song was a favorite. But on day 2, early, when I said, yo, it's time to sing, right up in my shit, like, I know it's time to sing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, is this bird? I asked you, it's like the bird knows what's going on.
Yep.
And you're like, they're smart. I'm like, no. This bird knows what's going on. It's not all right. It knows more than all the cats in the house. Like right now, it's very aware and is like, "Yo, what's up, man? I know what singing time is. I know what feeding time is. I know immediately what feeding time is. I know what you're saying." I'm like, "Is he learning the fucking language?" But he just can't respond to me in English because it was weird.
That's why I said to Oscar the other day, my cat, he was throwing shade at me, and I was like, "Listen. I'm not opening another fucking can of cat food for you. I'm going to turn what's in the bowl over and all the sauce from the bottom is now on the top." And he looked at me like, "No, you're going to open another fucking can of food for me." And I looked at him and I was like, "No, I'm not." And then we had this fucking mental war. And of course, I'm saying it out loud. He's thinking it in his head. And I'm like,
intense, very telepathic.
But think about it. And I said to him, you understand everything that I am saying to you, and you're still putting me through this shit. And I understand that I am allowing myself to be put through this shit, but still know that you understand everything that I am saying, and you will eat this goddamn food, and you will eat it all before you get another can of food. And then I felt much better, and then I walked away. And he ate the food. And I was like, see, I knew you fucking understood what I said. I knew you understood everything that I said.
Cat logic, cat stuff, right? I'm like,
but it is cat logic. And, I mean, I get it.
Well, the bird learns way faster than the cat, I'll tell you that. Yeah. I've never seen another animal act like immediately.
You never met my Coco.
No, see, I didn't know any of that stuff.
I have videos. No, I used to play hide and seek with her. I only had her for a very short time, and then Oscar fucking killed her. Murderer. And if I say her name now, he hangs his head.
He hangs his head.
He hangs his head in shame.
Murderer sorrow.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. Every now and then I have to remind him, just because he's a murderer. you know, and he's a murderer.
I
But I love
imagine,
him.
yo,
But
if you
he's a
watch
murderer.
a cat, right? So a cat is a snake, a furry snake
Could you
with
not?
feet.
Could you not?
Grab a cat's head and
Could
just
you
look at
not?
it.
Could you
You'll be
not?
like, oh, it's a snake head.
It was awful. Could you not? But this bird was
Right.
so
Okay.
smart.
So wait, it's got furry stuff and runs after things. Imagine if you were like this tall, right? That would be a dinosaur attacking
Yeah, but
you.
see now, my mama never bothered her, and she walked on the floor when I first got her.
You'd
And
be
she
like,
walked
"They're
right.
not fucking
She walked
cute."
right across Roxy, and Roxy didn't do a goddamn thing. Roxy did not bother her at all. It was him. And you know, for the first 3 days when I got her, he wouldn't come out from underneath the couch in the basement because he didn't know what was happening.
We are.
It was, but she was so smart. I mean, she knew when I pulled up in the driveway
Well,
that
we're
I
telepathic
and
with
I
the
was home,
animals.
she started chirping. And from the time I got out of my car and the time I got in the house and took her out of her home, I never called it a cage because it was derogatory, but I used to call it her house. She was on top of me. And Oscar did not like that, even though Oscar got his special time too. And Oscar got special chicken and Oscar got special treats all the time. And Frankie knows that's true.
Oscar doesn't like it when
You
I'm on
know.
top of you either.
But Oscar,
but there's nothing you can do about it, son.
it's a terrible thing. I mean, she was intelligent too. I mean, I never saw anything like it. It was really, and I was told that she was there so that I could experience motherhood. And I think that would be as close to it as I could explain.
We get short bursts and long bursts, right? So it's weird. Check this out. Not having a child, right? But having multiple different animals allows you to find. So a kid will have love on a human. There'll be like layers and all kinds of things. And when you live with them, it's just amazing and watching them grow and everything. But with animals, you're getting the cat. The cat's always the cat. You get the connection, you get the personality, right? But then you having the bird, it's a deeper connection. You can't do certain things with the bird that you could do with the cat. But there's things that you could do with the bird that you definitely cannot do with the cat at all. Like you could go to the movies with the fucking bird and have a good time if you wanted to, if the bird was cool enough.
No, and if you were Beretta, why would you go to the movies?
That's what I'm saying. Beretta, like on one level,
but
that's
why,
my bad.
But,
it's no, because it's on all layers, all levels, right? So on one level, it's Beretta, right? Or it's the Falcon from the comic book. He actually rolls up with the Falcon on his.
But that's ridiculous. Like that's just absolutely.
What, you gonna
ridiculous.
release that and make it catch me?
Yeah,
homie?
really, that's ridiculous.
I'd be like, yes, death from the skies,
I mean, come
bitches.
Come on, that's just stupid.
No, but it's different. So you get another layer of more kinds of love from a new animal that could bring it into that higher frequency with you. Like a dog is completely different, right? You could tackle the dog. You can't tackle the cat.
No.
Or you could take the dog hunting. You could go for runs with the
no,
dog.
That dog will do anything for your love. The cat is just like, well, you're in my way.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's different.
You know,
so if you had the dog and the cat, and
I
you
was
put
sitting.
Your time in, you would know these amazing.
I was sitting
like
on
learning piano.
I was sitting on the couch the other night. Remember?
Guitar.
And all the cats were on the couch, and I was like,
yeah, it looked like you were wearing a fur coat.
But it's my couch. Like, why? I'll just go in the corner on the floor.
Well, that's everyone's cat. Like,
but then once I go in the corner on the floor, they're all gonna want to go in the corner on the floor.
That's why you
they
want to just move them. I thought Bear was gonna run from me last night.
But it's like just move them.
Some nights you could just push their head over and sit down
this is
and put
ridiculous
their head back
now.
And be like, just go to sleep. And other nights they get up like, what are you doing? You're in my spot.
No, but
and
this
it's like, yo, bitch, this whole place is my spot.
And then like, and then I forget, and I'm an idiot. But that's the way it is.
You got to just play the game sometimes. It's fun, and sometimes it's just
it's ridiculous.
It's just ridiculous. Fuck off, right?
It really is. It's just ridiculous. We were gone from this house for 24 hours.
Holy shit!
And I just don't. I don't even want to say anything else about it because I just don't. And it's just like the what. I just don't understand. I just don't understand.
I said to multiple people, I haven't been gone. I was gone one full day.
I don't understand. Like I just don't understand.
It was almost like we were supporting our energy.
I know that, and it's like, come on,
to the side of the building of
come on,
that
really,
family.
like, come on. Like,
group, which is
I just
pretty much
can't.
everyone here. I was like, what the
I
fuck is
just
going
can't,
on?
you know. And then I was actually fantasizing about going away with Frank for 2 days in a row, and I'm like, what am I, crazy? You know, like, am I out of my mind? You know, like, this has to be enough for now. You know, and I'm like, I'm trying, you know, but like, there are some days when I have a day like I had the other day, and you know, I just completely freak out and start walking around the corner and realize I don't want to have to leave my house. You leave, you know, and then like everybody's scattered, and you know, I just couldn't take it. You know, I'm a very nice person normally, but that day I was not. And then instead of having a tantrum, I think I slept for 4 hours. But you know, is that normal? Probably not.
Yeah,
But
nobody's fucking
you know,
normal.
I mean,
What's
that's what
normal?
happened.
Normal is what the AI
You know, I
fucking
mean, it
been
happened. What am I
barking for the
gonna, you know,
last
what am I gonna
so many
do?
years.
You know, at least I
You
was
gotta get up and go to
responsible.
work, take your vitamins, and go shut the fuck up. Don't tell me what to do.
But like, at least I
You're
was
putting synthetics in
responsible, and I
everything.
took care of everything I had to
Fucking
take care
hammer
of
time.
before I had a breakdown.
Yeah, well, naturally.
You know, and Frank was just
We get system
stood out of the
overload.
way.
It's all good. Yeah, no, I get out of the way when you're having a dude. She reminded me of the girl with the superpower that had the sonic blast. So as she goes, ah, it just echoes out and just fucks you up, kind of like the sonic weapon, except it's different, but the same, I guess, the same effect. And she was hitting me with those giant rings, and I was like, yo, I'm out of here. I have no force field protection to this shit because I'm in the bubble with you. Shit's just ricocheting off of everything. Sorry about that, Merlin.
I know, but I'm like, you know what? It happens very, very infrequently, I would say. Wouldn't
Yeah,
you
so
say?
it's worth it.
Wouldn't you say it? You're making it worth it. But it's
making
not
this whole
worth
trip
it.
worth it. Oh, that's really
Whatever.
funny.
I'm tired though.
Me too. I can't even believe we did almost 4 hours.
I can't. I haven't gone to the bathroom. I have to
I
go.
went like 4 times.
I know that.
I drank
but
a bottle
I
of
know,
water.
and
I got a leg cramp during the
and
show. I didn't want to say
powered
anything, and I got
on.
up and I just went over there and started doing stretches. I was like, "Fuck this!"
Yeah, and I powered on.
No,
okay?
you're.
I know.
All right, so thank you, by the way.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No, really, tonight,
No, really,
thank you.
thank you.
Tonight was all you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very well. That was fun. That was really good. You know, I find that someone asked me if I'd ever like teach this stuff, and I'm like, I kind of am teaching it, and I'm putting it on video for everyone, right? So I don't have to stand in the room and show you over and over. You could just watch clips of the show. If you have questions, you could just fucking email me. And then I'm realizing it's not really. It's like growing. It's like teach, learning, learn, teaching, because I'm really learning and being taught, and then sharing that, and it's just coming right back at me with new stuff, and it's pretty fucking amazing. And I appreciate what did you just wrap it up, right? So I want to be gratitude right now. Gratitude,
Sure, honey.
what, as they say on Spartacus, right? Gratitudus, right? With purpose and gratitudus. All right, so whatever. So I appreciate you taking the time and growing with us, learning with us as we go. I learned a lesson tonight through the show. You know, I was on overload coming into this thing, and I want to apologize.
Coming in hot.
Yeah, Vanessa, that's crazy, right? 4 hours of fire. I didn't really mean it. I think it just came off worse than it was, and I didn't mean it. Anyway,
That's okay. That's okay.
You guys be good, and you girls be awesome.
Oh.
And that's my cat in the background, just crying to get in. But your Saturday nights are special, and I really appreciate you being here.
I appreciate you.
We're gonna do this together, Paula. Oh, thank you. Hey.
The cat's in the window.
I love you guys so much, and I appreciate all of it. And you know, I guess some compassion, and you know, maybe you do got to just let it off your chest. I guess it's all relevant, all of it. It's all relevant to the whole thing. It's never not, I guess, right?
Right.
All right. Well, I guess have a great night. whatever the rest of your night is, or your day, or your morning.
Stop talking.
And I can't. That's the problem that lies within deep. That the button's already been pushed, and I'm wound up, and I have the Energizer Bunny and Stone Cold Steve Austin. I had Paula with the stun alive on air.
Come on.
Okay,
Goodbye.
you guys have a great night. Stay fearless, and remember. Oh, thank you, and
It's
remember.
not really good.
The universe rewards bravery. Check out IamWeAreFearless.com. That's IamWeAreFearless.com. IamWeAreFearless.com. That's all I'm going to say about that. I love you guys. Good night.